6.5
when you hear Lewis,
inches at times.
when you hear Lewis going, start your roll.
I hope the fucking desk collapses on him. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Nerditude Movie Podcast. I'm here with Matt and Alex, and we're here. We're here for a 4th of July episode. We've got a special guest. He's with us like AIDS. He's here forever, baby.
He's no longer a special guest. He's actual.
Yeah, he's no longer a guest.
Yeah, Giovanni is the 4th co-host of our show.
And since you'll be seeing this, will be technically it'll be his very first episode. We've been kind of talking about some changes. Basically, what's going on is Lewis is going to do 2 episodes out of the month. We're going to have Giovanni on board with us for all the episodes, but 2 episodes out of the month will be 3 of us, and then the rest of the episodes, including the live, will be all 4 of us.
And sometimes there's vacation times that some of us might be pulling off every now and then, so you'll get 3 of us.
Pretty soon, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're back for a special episode. So Independence Day, which is a very important holiday if you're in America. It's also, if you're listening to this, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. It's also Alex's daughter's birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy
birthday.
But more importantly, it's America's birthday. So we chose 2 really good films that, ironically, are same director, same producer. We chose Independence Day and The Patriot, which are 2 fantastic films.
He's also a fan of, like, 4th of July, seems like.
He is. Roland Emmerich does a lot of disaster movies, too. I believe he did 2012.
There was another one. I just can't remember the name of it.
What the fuck else did he do? He did Godzilla. He did The Day After Tomorrow, 2012.
Godzilla or the Godzilla?
Godzilla, 98 with Broderick.
Okay.
You know, growing up, for some reason, I don't know if you guys had this too, I thought that movie was called Godzilla 2000.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought too.
That's what I thought too, that they had the 2000 after.
So there is a Godzilla 2000, but it's a Toho Japanese film.
What?
Okay. And it's like a Mandela effect for me. For some reason, I always thought it was Godzilla 2000, which made no sense because the movie came out in 98, so that should have... Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man,
I'm muted, yeah. They tried to redo the old school Godzilla feel, but when it came out, for whatever reason, people compared it more towards the Matthew Broderick one, and they just shit on it. So,
and that Matthew Broderick one was also when the fucking Taco Bell Chihuahua jumped on board, right?
Bro, I like that movie. I'm not even gonna lie.
I do like the movie. It's trash, but I do like it.
Did you ever see the commercials with the Chihuahua for Taco Bell?
If I did, I don't remember them. I don't have your weird memory.
By the way,
here, lizard. I think I need a bigger box.
Officer Garcia from Reno 911 was the Chihuahua's voice.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Really?
Before. Yeah.
So at least somebody remembers the fucking Chihuahua.
That was when he was like superimposing the footage running underneath Godzilla's legs and shit, right?
Yeah.
I remember those.
All right, so we're gonna do this in chronological order, which
the Crunchwrap
is really,
Supreme.
really weird. So Independence Day. This came out in 1996, directed by Roland Emmerich. Let's see, budget for this was $75 million. This movie fucking made a lot of money, $817 million. Also, this came out on July 3rd, which is when this episode is releasing overnight, I think.
Yep, overnight, July 3rd.
Yeah.
It's one of the highest grossing movies for 1996.
Which is going to have to be, it's going to be hard because we're recording Friday night right before it, so I'm going to have to do that quick turnaround. Probably won't sleep a whole lot, and then we'll get it out. I'll get it out overnight, yeah.
Something else real quick. He did 10,000 BC. He wrote it. And also Giovanni's favorites, Stargate SG-1.
Yes, I
Stargate.
love that
Stargate
movie.
Atlantis. No, the TV shows.
Oh, TV shows? Oh, even
yeah,
better.
he was a writer. He was writer for both.
The
and
shows weren't better
directors.
because they didn't have Kurt Russell. You're a goddamn liar. If a property
the
has
shows.
Kurt Russell and then it doesn't have Kurt Russell, impossible
No.
it could be better. Impossible.
The only way I'll accept them ever remaking The Thing is if Kurt Russell's son plays Kurt Russell's character.
Which he doesn't want to
Okay.
do in anything. Like, they asked him about Snake Plissken, he doesn't want to play that. Which he looks so much fucking like him, too. Just dye his hair
Yeah.
brown and he's like...
He's a good actor too. He's a really good actor.
Wyatt Russell.
His episode of Black Mirror is the best episode. The horror
The best.
video game one.
It's got the best fucking twist. It's
That goddamn spider.
It's that one, and there's one other one that I love. That one's my favorite out of all, though. It's just when they tell you what the actual twist is, you're like, less than a second, huh? Holy fuck! Like that when I watched, I was like, less than a second. His mom called him. Like it was just shattering, bro.
Yeah.
So this movie stars everyone you know and your mother.
Anyone you ever,
so you
my
got-
David.
Yeah. Yes, obviously
David.
Will
David.
Smith and Jeff Goldblum. This movie, when I was younger, cemented Bill Pullman as a fucking badass.
See, yeah, I
For
loved him.
me-
I loved him in Spaceballs, but he wasn't quite badass in Spaceballs. Then you watch this, and you're like, that motherfucker can give a speech. Holy shit!
Yep.
Yeah, I
Lost Highway is
believe
another good one with Bill Pullman.
It's a weird. fucking movie.
Judd Hirsch, who played Goldblum's father, he's since died, but he was
My
in this
David.
movie.
I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for my David.
Randy Quaid, who pretty much is his character from
Yep.
the fucking
Everything, yeah.
Griswolds.
Randy Quaid and
Yep.
Bill Pullman are the best parts of this movie. Fight me.
The
They
part where
are.
he fucking salutes the camera, and he's not supposed to be looking at the camera. He's supposed to be.
Yeah. he's basically Christmas Vacation Eddie, who just happened to
Oh, yeah.
stumble
If-
to the desert.
The plate.
If they ever made the Ernest movies, the stupid Ernest movies, but recast it, I want Randy Quaid as that character.
Yeah.
I would say,
that'd be
I would
really
honestly
good.
say John Cena.
Really?
He looks like him. Ernest looks like a shrunken version
Okay.
of John
Yeah, okay.
Cena.
He does look like.
But Randy Quaid
It would
looks
be
like
so weird.
But Randy Quaid looks like a fucking terrorist now. You can't he's fat
Yeah.
and he's got a giant beard and long hair. Like you need somebody with a
True.
chiseled jaw that can do that
Yep.
thing. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have Randy Quaid after he's like they're putting it in the water now, starring Randy Quaid. Ernest. It's like it doesn't work that way. Ernest should never be remade. Jim Varney's a legend. Fuck all y'all.
So, so this movie is basically a better War of the Worlds. If you haven't seen this movie,
I like War.
Actually, a lot of references to War of the
I-
Worlds in this
there
movie.
is.
Are you talking about the Tom
I
Cruise
did
one?
like War of the Worlds. Yeah. But
Yeah.
My favorite part in War of the Worlds is when people just into fucking gray matter and he's
Yeah, like
running
they
through
powder.
them but he's
Yeah.
running through them and he gets home and he's like shaking off people dust.
So I
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Which is the cooler / better alien? The aliens in this movie or the aliens in Mars Attacks?
Oh,
The aliens in this movie, for one reason, they actually use KY jelly for all the slime.
they're not nearly as,
reason.
they're not nearly as dumb as the ones from Mars Attacks either. Like the aliens in Mars Attacks
But-
are pretty fucking stupid.
and they're really fun.
Only
fun at parties.
you. Fucking their brains are
Exploded and
I love
shit.
that movie. One of Tim Burton's best movies.
So I guess
The
we
old
could
ladies
jump into
fucking
this.
Yeah,
We could just jump into the movie. I do want to say before we go into the review, if you're watching this, happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July.
Happy Independence
And
Day.
also,
Stay safe.
also
Don't blow any fingers up.
if we can make
all good.
Memorial Day and 9/11 an important holiday as much as the 4th of July, that would be great.
Yeah, let's give some support to the people who saved a lot
Yeah.
of fucking lives. All across the board.
Yeah, so this movie, I remember growing up, I had messaged the boys off air that I don't know if all of you guys. I know me and Giovanni had the action figures for this movie.
I had one, where the centerpiece opened up
yeah.
and the little gummy guy would go in.
Yeah, they were so fucking cool. Like Matt said, though, they weren't posable. Like,
No, they were
just did like the up down. Like that's
The
it.
little gummy guy. Could you throw him against the wall and he like falls down? Like
No, because they were hard plastic, but he was
Oh.
he would the way he moved is like it was just like springs in him, so you literally could basically contort his legs to be in the seated position in the alien, but you couldn't really use him if he was out of the alien. It was like the whole thing was the armor was the coolness of the toy.
Did it have like
Yeah.
the metal from the pipe cleaners in the middle and like the legs and arms?
Dude, every toy that didn't have the G.I. Joe springs had those where they poke out
Yeah.
after so long, and
Yeah,
you play them,
if
and
you
you're like,
kept
God
playing
damn
them,
it,
they
I'm
snap and they
bleeding.
go
Like,
through.
The toy just becomes dangerous.
yeah, literally, those
That was-
toys taught
that
you.
was-
They taught me as children to trust no one ever.
That was my childhood with fucking WWF figures. They were called
Oh
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
Bendables or whatever.
We
the
still
Bendies.
have some of those in the garage somewhere.
And I had Paul Orndorff where if you pulled his leg back and you let it go, it would go. It would always fucking fling back.
Those
But
were fucking
I
nut traps.
I bring up the toy specifically because I don't know about you guys, but when I think of movies that were nostalgic to me growing up, a lot of movies I factor into like how cool the fucking toys were when they came out. Like the Terminator toys were always fucking awesome.
With the
Robot
chest plate that
toys.
came off.
It was
Yeah.
it was the
You
Transformers.
could do the
for me.
Terminator toys had damage that you could actually do to the toy.
Do
Like
you remember the badass Blade action figure that came out when that movie came out? He had
Yes.
he had the jacket and everything, and it would come
Yes.
off, and he was really posable, so you could use him and actually play. Oh, dude, I remember when I got that toy. I was in Target, and it was one of the few times my mom said yeah, and I was just like, "This is gold." Like, I held it
So
up, just like looked at it, like yes.
Giovanni, you said that the Terminator toys took damage. Masters of the Universe also had that, where they
Yeah.
had battle damage, and I used to collect Masters of the Universe and Transformers when I was a kid. So you had one He-Man that you turn him sideways and he'd fucking swing, and if you would hit the guy in the chest, it would flip to one.
Yep.
You'd see one like punch mark, and if you do it again, there'd be two punch marks in the third one, and then you have to reset it.
See, the nice
So
thing
that was
about
kind of cool.
playing with
Badass.
G.I. Joes like we did was when one broke, he just gets injured in battle. He's the one that
Yep.
that gets his leg blown off.
Or if you were a doctor like me, you found a way to fucking pull that rubber band down
I
to
always-
attach to another set of legs.
I always try, but when mine broke, the whole spring went. And like, not only like,
Oh.
even if there was only one leg, the other leg was like goofy and like hanging
Looks
upside
like you
down.
just had a stroke.
Yeah,
and you're just like,
yeah,
I don't know what
basically.
to do with this
I'd find a GI Joe I liked the least, and I'd fucking buy it, and I'd fucking take the fucking legs off and attach it to the fucking. You'd have to do all this fucking thing with the pulling down the fucking rubber band that goes inside. Yeah, in the pelvic area, there's a rubber band. Is that the same one? Yeah, there's a rubber band that connects inside there to the legs.
God.
With the American flag behind you, it's perfect.
GI Joe. You're muted, buddy.
I should either get rid of the camera and just put the G.I. Joe's face.
There you
or,
go.
Or bobblehead Matt. Nobody wants to see me, let's be honest here.
We haven't seen
So-
Bobblehead Matt in a while.
So rewatching this movie holds up, but
Oh, absolutely.
holy hell, some of the effects are pretty dated.
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
When they're running, you got to get a shirt just like it.
I do need to get a Nerditude shirt with just like a bobblehead Matt on it. Like, that's next. Go
There's
on.
a couple scenes where they're running and there's supposed to be shit exploding and it looks pretty bad.
Yeah,
but
I mean, did you watch it on the Voodoo and did you watch it on your monitor or the TV?
I watched it on Amazon. I rented
Okay.
I rented the HD. No, I did watch it here.
Because if you watch it on
yeah, on a
Voodoo, it is
monitor.
the 4K, and
Yeah,
I am
I
even with the Patriot because I'm watching it on 4K. Unfortunately, some of the CG is not kind to the up resolution, or the up
No.
resolution is not kind to the CG.
Right.
I watched it on HBO Max, so I think it was just standard edition.
Yeah, that would be.
it's
but
on,
still,
it's on HBO
standard.
Max.
yeah,
Yeah.
Shit.
Even in standard edition, you can see all the like CGI and it's
yeah,
like, oh,
but if it's not what year was it? 96. I mean,
Yeah,
Mr.
for its time,
it
this
wasn't
movie.
bad.
Mr. Nanny came out in 93.
Oh, Jesus
yeah, no,
Christ.
it was. It wasn't bad for the time. It was actually
That's
pretty well done.
That's our new barometer for how good a movie is.
What does it rate on the Hulk Hogan scale? Brooke Hogan or his new wife?
No, for
same
first
person.
for the time though, this movie, I remember it looked fucking great, which obviously
Well, yeah.
why it did well, and
Yeah.
just the all-star cast it had.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was really good. The president in the movie, the way he acted kind of threw me off while I was watching it.
He's a good actor. He's not
He is
very
a good
good with
actor.
facial expressions. He doesn't know how to emote shit. Right.
That's
Well, at the
Captain
last
Lone
minute-
Star you're talking about, fella.
That's true.
Fuckhead.
the
He
last
has
minute,
I love Lone Star. He wasn't that fucking
Lone
good with emoting either.
Star.
It was supposed to be oh my god, what's his face from House of Cards?
Rapist guy, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Kevin
Really?
Spacey.
That would
Yeah.
not. He would have been a terrible.
It
No,
wouldn't-
I
yeah,
could
it
not
wouldn't have-
see Kevin Spacey in that
No.
role giving that speech. I can't see it.
Yeah,
No.
no. Which was actually, that speech was inspired by a Shakespeare play, I believe. Speech in a Shakespeare play.
Man, the thing that sucks
Shawn
about Kevin
Michaels.
Spacey is I really liked House of Cards, and it just got
Yeah.
thrown
I never
away.
saw that.
I
show. I
know.
never started it, and then like
It's
by the
good.
the controversy happened, and you're like, oh, he's just
Yeah.
not in the show. I hate when and that's kind of what also ruined Army of Dead a little bit for me too. Is it's like I'm a fan of Chris D'Elia, so it's like then when you listen to his podcast, he talks about filming it and stuff, and it's like nothing against Tig Navarro, but fuck off. Like I don't want you in the movie.
Yeah.
I want the original Vision because
But speaking of Tig Navarro, the guy that plays in Star Trek with her, he's one of the guys that actually called out Kevin Spacey when he was a kid.
Oh,
about-
really?
Anthony Rapp.
Oh,
Yeah,
Anthony
Anthony
Rapp's in
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Jen met him, and apparently he's a dick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I could
'cause
see it.
He was like doing one of the Broadway in Chicago plays that her and her sister went, and they met him outside after, and he was kind of like, meh. Like he had
Yeah.
this like kind of fuck off, like a.
He's a Broadway star.
Well, he's all Adventures in Babysitting, man. He was in there, right? He was the
chews the gum. Yeah, he chews the gum off your foot. Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's that guy.
That's him. Yeah. I don't have anything. I don't know. Jen said he was just a dick. His existence is meaningless to me, so I don't care one way or the other.
The nicest celebrity I met was Bruce Campbell.
God, I
Oh,
wish
let's
I'd
hear
have
the
met
story.
him.
I love the story. Can we hear it
I-
again, or can I hear it again?
It'll be a clip.
Well, no, no. I just remember having him sign a napkin for me because I was making him a drink, and I was like, "Hey, you're Bruce Campbell," and in this very Bruce Campbell voice, he's like, "I know." I was like, "Okay, could you sign this napkin for me, please?"
I mean, how do you not like turn into
But-
like you know what I mean? How do you not shrivel
but
up
what else
inside?
did he
Like,
say?
oh, it's Bruce Campbell. It's Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, true.
Did
Yeah,
he say something about his drink?
He might. I don't know. I can't remember.
You said you told me that he was like sitting there and you were like, you just like, yeah, can I get your autograph? And he
Oh,
gave you the
yeah.
autograph.
No, yeah, because I was so starstruck that I was just holding his fucking drink, and he's like, "Can I get my coffee?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, here you go, sir." Like, felt like a moron.
I don't know, man.
I-
I've read his one book. I think it's If Chins Can Kill.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I've read that one. I watch a lot of interviews. Like, if you ever want to hear a good interview with him, he was on Opie and Anthony, and he's one of those dudes that's very much just grateful for like being an actor, and he doesn't take himself like too seriously.
Yeah, he's a pretty humble dude.
Yeah, he understands that acting may not be easy, but it's not a firefighter, and he's one of the guys
Yeah.
that understands, like, this is pretend, this is the real world. You live in pretend, everybody else lives in the real world.
But he seems like he also understands that he's doing something that if he would not be popular if it wasn't for the people that his
Yeah.
fans,
Yeah, I love
So
I love
he
him.
does pay back.
I'm
his
actually
fans, and I like that.
I'm looking forward to the Evil Dead game because it does sound like he actually voices it. Because he teased a game 2 years ago. He said he was doing some new property, and everybody thought it was the Dead by Daylight DLC. And he's like, "No, it's not that. We've already done that." And it's this new Evil Dead game. I'm actually very excited for it.
That's awesome. I have the Evil Dead board game.
That
We never
sounds
play
fun.
it. It's a collector's item, but
I wonder
have
if we
it.
could figure out how to do a board game.
We never play it.
Like where if whoever's got the board game has one camera just on the board game and is responsible for controlling it for everybody.
Yeah,
if
we could do that. Yeah.
I've done that over the pandemic with my board game group.
How's that
It does
work out?
work.
Does it?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty
I'm
good.
always looking for new stuff to do, like on stream or
Well-
just do like a YouTube vid for it.
Look over his shoulder. That's a whole fucking shelf of games.
I
And
just
then
see
he's got another
pop-ups.
shelf somewhere. He's got another shelf somewhere else.
Oh boy!
Yeah, there you go.
Ignore the body of the young girl in the corner.
There's no body.
Those are all games. He actually
Yeah,
had
those
to
are
buy a
board
separate shelf.
Is that a Smokey and the Bandit board game?
There is not.
Damn it!
If there is, I'll get it.
You're not my friend.
I have 3 shelves of board games.
Yeah, we should get together and just do something like simply stupid, like Monopoly.
Oh, I have 5 versions of Monopoly.
Do you have the
man.
Mario Brothers one?
I do.
I do as well. I don't know where it is, but we have it as well. I wanted to get this when it came out. I wanted to get the Super Mario Brothers chess set.
We should do
is
an
that?
elder sign fucking night with the 4 of us.
Ooh.
I think Matt would like that.
The Elder Sign.
It's a test your luck dice.
I'm
Like
down with
Cthulhu.
whatever at this point.
I think you would enjoy that though. You have to figure out what you want to do. Yeah.
I'm pretty empty
Yeah.
inside, so I'm always looking for something.
Anyways, back to this movie.
Enough about Matt being empty inside.
I think at the time, I wonder if the scene of the White House being blown up, I wonder if at the time that was like pretty iconic, like maybe taboo almost.
Well, think about it. Austin Powers.
Yeah.
So Austin Powers used it. So you know, for one thing, it's a cultural impact when another movie uses the footage. But you got to wonder if you did show that footage of the White House being blown up to people in the 70s or 60s, like, would it just mind fuck them? And I think it would.
Mm-hmm. Most likely, yeah.
To us, it's
That
like,
will-
it's kind of cheesy, but to them, it would have been like, oh my
How
god,
dare you?
Like, think of what the War of the Worlds, the original, did on the radio to people.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
God,
Like, imagine if they showed it. Like,
They thought it was real.
Like, if you
holy
could go
shit.
back in time and troll the entire nation, it would be showing that scene from Independence Day on your night, on your news at night, and then just saying nothing about it.
What year was the War of the Worlds radio?
Oh, the 30s?
Oh, was it? Okay, I couldn't ask my grandmother then because she was born in '32.
It was. I want to say.
I can't ask my grandma because she's dead.
Hey,
Oh,
Hey, mine too. Recently.
no.
Don't feel bad for her. She doesn't deserve it.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
That whole scene though with the White House, that whole filmed scene is actually pretty badass because if you notice when it starts, like as soon as the ship fires down and the whole destruction sequence starts, there's no music. You just hear the sound of destruction.
Yeah, for like
it sucks
almost
the
10
oxygen
minutes.
out of the room.
Yeah.
Dude,
It-
For
I-
like almost 10 minutes when the aliens attack.
It really
there's like no
pulls
music.
you in. It's great.
I appreciate that in movies when it's not just, I'm looking at you, Nolan, when it's not just blaring soundtrack and they kind of just let the movie, like whether it be like a scene, like No Country for Old Men is good in this way, where there's a lot of scenes where it's dialogue
There's like no soundtrack.
and it's quiet. Yeah, there's like no soundtrack, but you're so dialed in the movie that you don't need it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good fucking movie. Oh my god.
Colon. Why haven't we reviewed that movie yet?
Don't put that coin in your pocket.
It would be the first time I watched the entire movie if we did.
You've never
It's
seen
a
the whole
good
thing. It's like an
movie.
hour and
Entire movie,
45
no, not the
minutes
entire
long.
movie.
It's just a short
So
book,
good.
too. If you ever
Yeah.
read the book, if you're a fan of Cormac McCarthy, definitely check out that book. Blood Meridian is another amazing novel. The Road, I don't know. I think he wrote The Road, did he?
The problem with No Country for Old Men is if you're listening to it, if you're watching on a good screen, good sound system, there's a lot of like slow dialogue scenes, so occasionally when you hear his fucking gun go off,
Yeah.
you scramble for the controller
Yeah,
because
'cause
it's
it's
so
like-
fucking loud.
I
Yeah.
watch a lot of movies late at night, and that happens a lot where I literally watch most movies at night with subtitles because I have to keep it at a certain volume because the dialogue will be down here, and then like the car engine revs, and it's like, Jesus
Yeah.
fuck, I'm gonna wake the whole house up.
I've been watching with headphones, man, and
I can't
blows
do it,
my
man.
fucking ears.
I wear headphones when I stream. I wear headphones
Yeah.
when I do this. I can't fucking do headphones when I'm like I have a little shitty Bluetooth speaker that sits here that I turn on when I don't have to wear headphones just so I have something else to not have these fucking things on. I got a big head, okay? It's a
I can't do that with movies. This was like a year or so ago. I was trying to watch a horror movie with my headphones, and my wife came to give me a kiss goodnight, and I almost like fucking backhanded her because it scared the shit out of me.
So
And I could see people coming towards me, and that shit happens to me when my daughter stands in the fucking dark on the side of me. But I never see her coming. It freaks me out.
So if Halloween Kills does go to theaters, but also gives the option to rent it, we should rent it and I'll watch it together.
With headphones
I
on.
can't wait for that.
I-
When I watched the trailer today, I can't wait.
In the dark.
They literally were
Okay.
they were kind of tame for the first one, And then just by the trailer alone, they're basically like, yeah, no, we just body count is where we're going. Like literally, the trailer. And here's the thing: I think that the fact that the trailer shows as much as it does shows how much deeper the film is going to be, because they're only now getting into the supernatural element, and they just tease it in the trailer where she's like, every person he kills, he gets deeper into it. So it's like, you know, when the whole line of like, you know, there's a line where she says, you know, like, he may be flesh and blood, but no man would have survived that fire. And like they're building, so I think the fact that they show you basically the entire firefighter slaughter scene means that there's so much shit loaded in this movie that they can afford to throw that at you and still get you to go, holy fuck, later on in the movie.
Johnny, have you seen the trailer?
I have not. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Oh my god!
I watched it earlier,
watch it.
and it is beautiful. Like you know the scene in when the original sequel came out, Halloween, and he does the teeth over the bathroom stall. Every scene in this trailer is that level. Like they're not fucking around.
I watched it. Shay saw me watching it, and she's like, "Oh, I was gonna tell you that just dropped." And I was like, I gotta brush my teeth to get ready for bed. So she hears me watching it again in the bathroom, and then I come out, and I was like, "You want to watch it with me?" And she's like, "Sure, I guess."
Yeah, that one's gonna be awesomely hardcore. I'm looking forward to it. Jamie Lee Curtis looks like she's like gotten a little bit younger in between the two movies. Like, is it just me, or did her original look in the other one was much older looking than the new one?
It's all those probiotics,
like all that yogurt. She's shitting out all the age.
We're not gonna get fucking striked for that, right? Because I said Activia like that.
I hope not. I sing so many things on this channel. If they strike that for that, dude, I'm just gonna go ape shit and start just playing music. If they're gonna fucking strike me for that, guess what? Holding Out for a Hero is gonna be in a fucking episode.
Oh yeah, Giovanni, we've talked about we want to review Short Circuit.
Oh my god, yes. Well,
Two.
both of them, right?
Well, Steve Guttenberg is a charm.
Well, you gotta watch both. If you're gonna watch them, you gotta watch both.
Yeah,
Number two is the better one.
Here's the thing. It is less budget, but it's a better, funnier movie.
I love the fucking Los Locos part. Oh my god.
Like the first one is like
I love Steve Guttenberg.
It's an 80s Spielberg-esque comedy. And the second one was like this guy named Jim directed it. Like, but it's pretty funny.
Does he swear in the first one or the second one where he says they're pissing me off?
Second one, you are really pissing me off. As sparks are flying out of him. It's so awesome.
And then he swears in the Los Locos when he's singing the song.
Los Locos kick your ass.
And then
Los Locos kick your face.
You also have one of the biggest like cultural appropriation moments of the 80s with what's his face as
Wouldn't
Benjamin.
you like to be a prepper too?
Yeah. Like if that came out nowadays, like I'm surprised the woke audience hasn't just devoured Short Circuit 2, so it's delisted. Like I've seen articles about it where they're like,
I don't think there'll ever be like a remaster of that movie.
No, you're never gonna get the 4K transfer of Short Circuit 1 and 2.
So
what if we do Short Circuit 2 and Hackers so that we get double Benjamin?
Yeah, but you know what? He wasn't culture appropriate. He was a culturally appropriating smart people and hackers. Like, I just remember the hacking was literally like a video game that they would go into, and wasn't there a part where he like is in a standing thing or something?
Yeah.
With lights around him and shit. Like,
the only positive to that movie is one of the few pre-breast implant shots of Angelina Jolie's boobs you get. That's it. I don't know why I've never, like, maybe in Hackers a twinge, because I'm always been in that, like, you know, kind of punk look, but I don't know. I've never found, like, when Tomb Raider came out, and I remember Giovanni specifically was, like, drooling over her.
Yeah.
And even as a kid, I was like, I don't get it.
Amazing, that movie.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
She's so in love with her brother right now.
I just don't get, who?
Angelina Jolie, when she wins that award.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She says that she's so in love with her brother right now.
Yeah, she's a weirdo. Her and Billy Bob Thornton with the vials of blood.
The vials of blood, yeah, around their necks.
It's like it's in The Cell. The Cell is a movie we have to review soon too.
Ooh.
I think Giovanni likes that one. I know Giovanni's Lewis and Alex and I talked about doing Dark City, and I was like, we can't fucking do Dark City until Giovanni's on board. Like, there's if Giovanni jumped into the show as a co-host and found out 3 weeks prior reviewed Dark City, like he would just give it a 4 out of 5.
What about it'd be cool to do Equilibrium too.
I
Oh
like
my
that
God,
movie quite a bit,
yes.
yeah.
I fucking love Equilibrium.
That
So
movie is
good.
one of the best reimaginings of Fahrenheit 9/11 I've ever seen.
I was gonna say we should do both of them.
I recently just watched V for Vendetta, which is very much on the same.
Another good one.
When we
Yeah,
do
wait.
Dark City, are we gonna do McHale's Navy with it?
Are you trying to make me come? I do love McHale's Navy. It is no secret on this channel how much I love McHale's Navy. It is a wonderful film. I don't even like Tom Arnold as a person, but I love him in that movie. You guys, have you ever watched McHale's Navy, Al, or Giovanni?
I have not.
See, he's never had the wonderful exposure. It is in
Oh,
Voodoo.
Jesus Christ.
Check it out. It's a feel good movie. If you're sick, not feeling well, throw it on. By the end of the movie, you'll be
Every
still
time you
dying.
mention that movie, Matt turns into like a snake oil salesman. Like,
It's
do you
so
have
funny,
an
see?
AP comic? McHale's Navy.
You tell me a better movie with French Stewart. See, it does have Bruce Campbell,
It does.
Yeah.
and that was Bruce Campbell when he still had the chiseled jaw too, and he hadn't gotten older and a little fatter. It was like prime. It was right after Army of Darkness. Bruce Campbell.
I
He
do.
tried to
I
make
do
me
like
come.
Fat Bruce Campbell though.
I'm
Fat
still
Bruce-
laughing about that.
Fat-
Campbell is amazing.
Fat Bruce
Oh,
Campbell's
fuck.
great because you could tell it's the type of dude that you can go to a restaurant with and eat a steak with. Like he's not gonna get like, I'll have the salad. He's like, no, the porterhouse.
So
I want a glass of whiskey.
Tomahawk. The Tomahawk.
I never finished the Evil Dead TV show, so I'm working my way through it right now.
It's great.
I just have the last episode to watch.
So when
And
I
didn't
went
watch it
to
'cause it ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm just
It does?
yeah, because they canceled
See,
it.
that's why I
Yep.
can't. That's why I can't watch these. That's why I don't want to watch it.
They
I
fucking
want to watch
canceled
it.
it.
And
Not ended, canceled it. They didn't give him a wrap up. They didn't give him a wrap up episode or nothing.
when I went to Vegas for my company, they did my old company. Remember, I quit today.
you
I went
just
to
got, you got
Vegas.
lucky. You did Vegas one more time with that. You fucking motherfucker.
The first time I went to Vegas, it was the last showing of Evil Dead the musical, and I got to see it.
Was it any
It
good?
was incredible.
Jen's sister, I think, saw it, but she didn't get it.
I
'cause
loved
she's not a
it.
fan.
What the fuck
Yeah,
was
you
that?
have to be a fan. Yeah, you have to be a
The-
fan. It was
the-
great though.
That
like-
one song. What the fuck was that? When
like-
it's coming out of the fucking.
There are certain points where her sister, because she's into the Broadway musicals and everything, will like tell me about there's an Evil Dead musical and try to tell me about the property, and it's hard not to be like, do you know who you're fucking talking to? You're not
In
gonna
your
tell
head,
me.
you're just like wrong,
Yeah,
wrong,
well, yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, it's just like, don't even act like you know anything about the fucking property, okay? For one thing, Ash doesn't sing in the goddamn movie, okay? Like, it's hard for me not to go into like defensive, just like, back off. You don't want to go here.
Did they have a splash zone?
Yes,
Nice.
they did.
It was
It
for all
was
the cum.
great.
For the fanboys in the front row that are like, that is the kind of the funny thing, because like, think about how 80s culture was. And the reason I believe why our society has grown kind of towards the nerdier aspect, where it's much more not only acceptable but promoted, like being nerdy is cool right now. I think it's because all of the dudes who loved that culture, who were in high school or junior high when in the 80s when these things blossomed, are now the motherfuckers running the companies. Like, these are the guys that are running these companies that grew up and they're 45, 50 years old. And those are the guys are the reasons why you still see properties get revived. The only reason Ash
gonna-
vs. Evil Dead is because of people like that.
I'm gonna say this. This kind of reminds me of my wife's favorite movie, Romeo and Michelle. The guy that at the end comes out of the helicopter. He's the nerd
Wait a
with
second.
the two girls.
Wait a second.
My wife's favorite movie.
That is one of Jen's favorite movies as well.
But it's the nerdy guy that has the two girls at the end.
Yeah.
Who
So that analogy makes me. The other day, my wife was talking to me about. I was selling a bunch of Star Wars comics I had, and I told her, I was like, man, I just sold this dude a run of like 12 issues for $300. And she's like, is that funny to you? And I was like, yeah, because in high school, freshman year, I used to get fucking made fun of because I'd be sitting at the lunch table reading my Star Wars comics, and I just sold them to some middle-aged dude for a couple $100. Like, it just annoys me that shit we did when we were younger and got made
It's now
fun of.
popular and worth
Yeah,
money.
now you
and-
have all these fucking zoomies who are like, it's cool, and it's like, cool, I got made fun of for that, but you go ahead and live
So-
out loud, that's fine.
So what do you tell them about the sticky pages? Well, that's just some water got on it.
Yeah, I was like happy, but it annoyed me at the same time.
Hey man, I mean, and that's the thing is, it's those dudes that have the expendable income too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
those dudes grew up and they're in positions of power and money, and you have seen over the past, I'm gonna say 20 years. I'm gonna say from 2000 till now, you've definitely seen a serious cultural swing, whether it be acceptability or the pro nerd movement, where all of a sudden you know how to fucking use a computer, therefore you're a geek or a nerd. And it does leave a lot of the guys like myself, and I think Lewis, and maybe, I don't know about Alex. When he was younger, he was more of like a, I don't know what you
Stoner.
were a rapscallion.
I was a stoner.
I blaze it.
Yeah, like for us, it kind of leaves us in this point of like, oh great, everything that used to be fucking stupid is popular, and now I'm a poser for liking it, even though I've liked it since I was
Yeah.
a fucking kid, you know. So it's
No, with me when I was a kid, I was a stoner, but I still liked all that shit, and I wasn't a part of anybody's crew, so I was shunned by both the gangbangers and the fucking nerds. Nobody wanted me to be a part of their shit.
Did you have an Elvis phase?
No.
I remember your mutton chops or something were grown in at one point, and you looked like Elvis. I can't remember when it was.
No, I did have sideburns for a while, yeah.
Maybe that's what it was to me. I don't know. Anybody with sideburns, I guess, looks like Elvis to me.
Yeah,
You don't
I
see
shaved-
just
I had no
sideburns very
mustache, no
often,
beard, I had sideburns.
When was the last time you saw somebody that had sideburns down to like mid cheek and no other face?
I used to work with a guy like that at Aldi, and we joked around that he was a fucking serial killer.
For real, like, you don't trust people that like that. Literally in the 70s, everybody had like football players like brought it to popularity, but nowadays it's just like, no, children, avoid sideburns, man. Step away. Okay, so we are talking about, I think, about a movie.
Oh shit, we had a movie we're talking
so
about? Fuck,
Independence Day, you know, and here's the thing is, it's one of those things where you don't even, you know, we try to avoid the going through a movie where it's like this, you know, this, then this happens. Is basically aliens fucking invade. You have morons who you can clearly see some of the people you see in media nowadays being these fucking idiots. Like the flat earthers are basically the people that are under the beam
Holding the signs.
on the top of the tower as soon as it blows their fucking whole life apart.
We welcome you. We welcome
like,
you.
And you can still, like, that's why this movie's still relevant, because the extremes of these people are still out there. I'm sure everybody here is coming to contact with somebody that's go, no, that motherfucker would be on the top of the tower. I know that for sure.
Is Harry Connick Jr.'s character a fucking typical person?
What character?
What's the one thing he says? Harry,
he's a soldier.
What's the one thing he says? We need to get out and get some serious booty.
Well, I mean,
how did you say it?
if you're a single 20-something-year-old soldier with no connections, what the fuck else would you be thinking about on leave time?
And your best friend is dating a fucking stripper.
Yeah, like, let's be real here. If
Stripper was
Don't
military
we know
trained,
someone
just
who
trained in
strippers?
survival school.
and you're here, like, you're not overseas, you're in the U.S., like, what the hell? What are you gonna go catch a flick? That's where you're gonna use. You're gonna catch a movie with a buddy. Come on, you're gonna go to the bar. You're gonna look for sling, and then you're gonna probably go back to your barracks unsuccessful. Because you know when I used to
Junior, fuck yeah.
do him, he would have been successful with that voice. Oh my god!
Ugh, I don't know.
You mean to tell me Will Smith is better looking than Harry Connick Jr.? I disagree.
You noticed? So there's a scene in this movie where they're in the ship and he gets the idea for the cold, right, from his father.
Jeff Goldblum
and
is
he's like,
amazing
"Hey,
in this movie."
dude, first of all, that ship was not CG'd. They built that thing.
Like a set.
It was a real set piece.
That's cool.
Yeah. But when he tells him shoot, you hear everybody like, "Oh my god." And you hear Will Smith, and you know it's Will Smith, because he's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Like, you hear it in the back. He's the only one, and I'm like, I fucking start laughing.
Uh-oh, I'm hearing something playing. There is a video playing that's going to be audio. It's literally Steve Austin's Broken Skull session.
Oh, it started playing. No, we don't hear it, but you.
I accidentally hit the space bar. It'll come through the audio, though. So for a couple seconds, we're going to hear Stone Cold talking to Mick Foley.
Nice.
Oh well. Whoops. Yeah,
Good podcast. You should check it out.
This is one of those movies where like there's parts of it for everybody, and the nice thing about it is it's the obvious idea of aliens invading and destroying us is very serious matter, but it's still dealt with humor. Whether you find it from the character of David's father, none of you would be alive without my David. Like he's just a character in himself.
What do you guys think about fucking Governor Pritzker's fucking cameo in this?
Pritzker's in this?
Yeah, he's the general guy. Isn't that who Kevin Arnold's dad was from the Wonder Years?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. That's a stretch. He's much fatter. Pritzker's much fatter.
He looks like Pritzker, man.
Joke.
There's an actor. His name is it's a ridiculous name. I can't remember it though. But yeah, no, he looks. But Pritzker's much fatter though, and lazier and more corrupt, I'd assume.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, this movie is a CG spectacle. It is the definition of a popcorn movie. It is the definition of just much like a roller coaster. You're designed to go to the theater, turn off the brain, be absorbed by what they're showing you, and the audio, and the oh my god, 1996 CG effects. That's the whole thing. Is this movie is designed to not be taken too seriously, and unfortunately, when you deal with reviewing movies and a lot of like the reviews that you see on it, either people are like the audience, I love this movie, it's childhood memory, but then the critical reviews are like, this far-fetched tale of, and it's like, we need to stop comparing a movie like ID4 to Kill a Mockingbird. You know what I mean? Like, it's enough. Like, not every movie.
Those are two different fucking movies.
Not every movie is on the same grading scale. So like,
and I really like To Kill a Mockingbird.
They're on two different spectrums.
One of my favorite movies is 12 Angry Men for good reason. Both versions, the redo plus the old school one with what's his name. But the problem is people review movies not for what they are. It's for what they There Will Be Blood won an Oscar, and we're going to use this as the template. And now every movie has to be this quality. It doesn't work that way. Like, in the realm of disaster movies, this is one of the top. In the realm of disaster movies, when people say, I guarantee you if I Googled any fucking top 5, top 10 disaster movies of all time, Independence Day is on that list. And it's for a reason. It made a cultural impact. It was the first of its kind to blow up the fucking White House like that. To just absolutely this movie
destroyed many cities.
Well, this movie is one of the first movies to just obliterate New York.
Yep.
Remember for like 10 years before 9/11, New York was the city that got destroyed. Anything that happened, whether it be a monster or a storm, New York was this pre 9/11, because of course the 9/11 happens and New York was legitimately fractured because of that. So they don't do now. That's why you see more shit in Chicago, overseas in China, Japan, because you can't, you can attack New York, but the problem is there's only so close you can get without having your audience be like, I was there and I lived through this and I don't want this. And that's why, if you notice, disaster movies since 9/11 are more cartoony. They're not as like ID4 wanted you to feel like, holy shit, the White House was just blown up. Nowadays, like, look at San Andreas with The Rock. Nothing real about that movie. Not one thing looks or feels real. By the way,
you just said San Andreas. That is actually, I looked up top 10 movies. San Andreas is in the top 10, and Independence Day is not.
That's stupid.
You've got Contagion.
What is the
12
website?
Monkeys.
What's the website?
Men's Health. Oh, no wonder why. Men's Health.
No, fuck that. 12 Monkeys isn't a disaster movie. It's quasi-apocalyptic time travel.
Seventh Seal. Miracle Mile.
Can you stop pulling up garbage lists?
Miss Doubtfire.
Why would you take Men's Health word?
I just picked the first one.
Hey guys, you in this article we'll tell you the amount of creatine you should ingest. In the next article we got a list of best disaster movies.
Speaking of New York and post 9/11, is there one of the Spider-Man movies where he's propped up between the two towers?
One of the original promos. It was a teaser and it was his web between the towers.
Yep.
Was it the Tobey Maguire ones?
Yep. It was the first Tobey Maguire one. 9/11 happens before the movie releases. You never see that promo again.
Yep, they took it all. I think in some of the remakes or remasters, I think they took the Twin Towers out of some of the movies.
They fucking Vince McMahon the Twin Towers.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, anything that reference, like, if you watch the 80s movies, they were in. If there's a movie set in New York, Trading Places, literally, they film at the base of the towers going in because that's where the trading was. Like, it was a cultural icon. So I can understand with what everything happened, why everybody kind of like, maybe we don't attack New York so much.
Yeah, I the other not yesterday, but the day before, for no good reason, I watched 2 documentaries on 9/11 and just completely ruined my fucking day.
That happens to me every 9/11 because they're playing and they're everywhere. And
the 102 minutes that changed America.
I watch it every single fucking year.
My wife did that one day.
Every year.
She watched it. What my wife and I got married on September 11th. But she watched it one day and she was like, "This is so sad," and I was like, "Yeah."
Did she watch 102 minutes that changed America?
Which is the best put together.
I don't think
that's
she did.
the best one.
But she watched the whole day. She watched a whole day of documentaries on 9/11.
It's a documentary that's compiled of nothing but recorded footage, and it just the whole thing. You just have this like feeling in the fucking pit of your stomach.
Well, it's really interesting because they were filming the fire squad. Had nothing to do with anything. It was a couple of French brothers doing a documentary on the FYPD, the fire department. The New York Fire Department. I don't know why I said FYPD. But anyways, and it just so happens. Like, there's 20 minutes of the documentary that is just them going about their morning. Everything's peaceful. It's a beautiful New York day. And then all of a sudden you hear the rumbles, and boom, he just catches it. And it goes from there, and it is gut-wrenching. There are other ones, and is anybody a truther? Does anybody believe that we attacked it, or they weren't brought down by planes in this group? Because I sincerely hope not.
No. I've watched videos of that just to see how crazy some people get, but
Well, see, the thing is, people say that jet fuel can't melt steel beams. That is the jet fuel can't melt steel beams. That's the biggest thing. And the truth of it is on its own, sure. But you were talking about a building with
when it was
thousands
built?
Thousands of pounds of paper, insulation, dust, dirt, carpets,
was up to code,
clothing,
was up to code.
people. You're talking about things that will accelerate the temperature of a fire once combined with jet fuel. I mean, people like to say, and the literally fiery jet fuel spewed down elevator shafts. And anybody in those elevator cars were goners. In the 102 Minutes documentary, they say they didn't film it, but a lady came out of the elevator on fire.
I don't know if Anthony remembers this, but I remember we were sitting in math class with Mr. Stamatakos.
Lewis and I think, were in Anderson's, weren't we?
And somebody ran into the room, and they were like, "Turn on the TV." And the
they
Mr.
wheeled in the
Stamatakos,
Taco always had to watch his stocks of all things.
And we were the quietest we saw the second plane hit.
I saw that too.
And the minute it hit, he looked at us and he's like, "We're probably all gonna go home."
Yeah.
And then they started evacuating. Like, it was the scariest fucking thing.
I had to wait till 5 o'clock for me to go pick up my mother because I didn't have to work that day. And my mother was like, she's like, "I don't know what's going on. They're not evacuating us."
They closed all the bridges. They closed all the bridges too.
Yeah, I remember when we got home, we were like, "Where's Grandma?" Then when she got home, she's sitting on the couch crying. We're watching it on TV.
I mean, the truth of it is, if the Sears would have ever been hit by it's designed to, it's not the same. It probably wouldn't have toppled. But it's just the way those built. And it's not the first time. I mean, you had the 1991 or 3 bombing from the garage.
93.
93, yeah. So I know this is kind of a bummer thing, and this is what this episode is going to be. Frankly, I think all 4 of us are close politically, and not even politically, but close mindset-wise. We vary politically, but the concept, and one of the things that, for me personally, is so awesome about doing a show like this is it's the ultimate American freedom. For me to be able to sit here and run my fucking mouth about things I love with my friends is something that not everybody in this world gets to do. And I think inherently, by all of us being born American, we are all privileged. Whether we want to admit it or not, if you're born in this country, in the graces of this country with everything we do have, and you're not born... I mean, look at cases like India with the coronavirus. You're burning people in the fucking streets. Look at the poverty. Look at places like Mexico, which is overrun by cartel and then overrun by poverty by corrupt government. No matter what you want to say about this country, if you live here, you are amongst the privileged. Plain and simple. Sorry. That's my diatribe about it.
So, anyways, I'm moving to Canada, guys. No,
Later, you're going to be one of the celebrities. Oh, Trump has been offered.
Have fun trying to get in there. Have fun trying to get into it.
Literally,
Rather than anybody in.
storming the castle.
Literally, Trudeau's like, hey, what are you going to bring to the table, eh? I mean, I'm just saying, Amy Schumer, you're kind of funny, but...
we could give your job to a Canadian, eh?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do that a Canadian citizen couldn't do, eh? What type of American knowledge do you bring?
We don't believe in the prison system. We let our fucking prisoners out.
Okay, well, have you been to California? We're not much better
but I think Canada does that a lot more than California, dude.
Yeah, but Canadians don't get arrested for the same shit we do. Like, Americans are kind of crazy. We get arrested for got into a fight in a mall, took it outside in the parking lot, then drove your car into each other, and then took the police on a chase. Canadians are like, I told him to go fuck himself is what I did, and like that's their crime.
What's that one podcast from Sword and Scale where he's covering the guy who fucking on the bus like cut somebody's head off in the bus
in Canada?
Yeah, and
that was in Canada. Yeah,
and he was released, and nobody knows where he's at now because he changed his name and everything. Because Canada has these laws where you can change your name and you have anonymity. You served your time.
Canada believes that prisons are designed as rehabilitation centers.
He hacked off somebody's head with a fucking butcher's knife.
I am tired
in a fucking bus
of those maple syrup hoarding sons of bitches. Okay. Why am I spending $12 for maple fucking syrup?
And wasn't he also given fucking rec time where he went out by himself and he had to come back by himself when he was in prison? I gotta find out what this guy's name is.
Look, I still have a bracelet on my ankle from some petty theft, so I'm a little annoyed by hearing that. It takes two of them clanked together.
All you did was take a pencil from grammar school, right?
That's all I did was a single pencil. I still have this ankle bracelet on. They've had to give me new sizes.
It was a 10-cent pencil, but you tried to offer him 25 cents later.
All I did was buy a dime bag, man. I'm in prison. Really? You bought a dime bag with an illegal gun in the car, fuckface. Shut up. That's why you're in prison still, dickhead, not because of the dime bag. That is kind of shitty, though, to think that, like, there is dudes in prison, and, like, I can literally go to a store and just buy weed. And there's dudes in prison. Like, there is a whole thing. There's a whole project about trying to get as many, like, weed offenses out of there. But the problem is that the truth of it is a lot of these dudes that do get arrested with this shit do have, like, a weapon in the car and shit like that with them.
Yeah.
And, when you do that,
there's more to the case than
it's also how they get it packaged up. So, if they have it in small bags, they're automatically going to hit them with a distribution charge. So it's like, there's a lot of fuckery that goes around with it. But the average arrest for that shit that's still in prison for it, there was more to it. Usually. If not, there are instances of just bullshit corruption and broken laws and the war on drugs, but... Are we all vaccinated? Because I don't feel safe if we're not, by the way. Okay.
Hey, I am. I almost died.
Yeah, Lewis went through fucking 7 days of hell trying to make sure everybody... That was his tag. Like, Lewis can walk around and be like, yo, I'm healthy, right? I don't need the fucking vaccine. But I went through a week of hell so these old fucks can survive a little longer. Give me some credit. I had a few days of being...
fucking nightmare, dude.
Like Lewis
the booster's coming up for Moderna.
What?
Wait, what?
The booster's coming up for Moderna.
I just got my second dose last month.
They're talking about a booster for Moderna.
Do I have Moderna? Yeah, I think
I
have
Is the booster going to wreck my life too?
I got the Johnson & Johnson, and the day after I got the Johnson & Johnson, we had to watch my nephew, Anthony's son. And then Stephanie, my wife, is sitting with her family talking and eating, and I'm fucking chasing him around the backyard, fucking sweating bricks. Like, I'm sweating, I'm tired, and he's laughing at me. And I'm just like, Rory, come on, man, come on. And he's just laughing, and then Stephanie's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you running out of breath?
I got the vaccine sweats, man.
I got the meat sweats. Yeah.
I had 3 days of walking through water. Or either that or like 3 days of like, I moved to Colorado for 3 days and the altitude just fucking wrecked my body. Like that's what I didn't have I didn't have much pains or aches. It was just like every step I took was just like,
keep in mind, why am I still breathing? Time he's still working out, like instead of just relaxing.
Okay. So my theory here, and I worked out through both shots, and my theory here was if I get the body moving and I keep the blood flowing, maybe I won't feel bad. So the second day of me feeling like every moment I could have taken a nap, I was like, fuck it, I gotta work out. And I'm literally doing my curls. I was like, that wasn't too bad. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
and like by the time but my sweat doesn't normally super kick in for a few minutes. After the first set, I'm like it's getting to the point where like
Did you leave puddles?
my hands are sweating. So like I'm grabbing and I'm like, oh, it's slippery. And I still did my workout, but it was like every like I'm doing chest. I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like it's just like keep going, before you die. Yeah,
I was very lucky, man. The first week I was just sore in my left arm. The second week I was only sore for a couple days. The second shot, and I was only sore for a couple days. So I got very lucky.
Lewis,
My wife felt like she was on her deathbed.
Lewis is literally crawling around the house using a fork on walls and like pulling himself on the floor.
It was funny to watch Anthony do it. Or Lewis, sorry.
You can call me. I
do the same thing.
It's my fault because you guys call him Anthony. I call him Lewis.
He gets the shot. We all meet at his house to have a little nerd party, and I watched him in the beginning of the day be like, nah, it's not bad. At the end of the day, he's like, can you guys fucking leave because I don't feel good.
The whole
He's like
time
Jack
I kept
Nicholson.
making jokes too. I was like, I kept making jokes like Shay would ask me to do something. I'm like, I can't because of the vaccine. And then by like 6 o'clock, I felt like a bitch. Like everything hurt.
Well, see, I told my dad because he got his second shot was 2 weeks after mine. I told him I was like, take that Monday off because he had to get on the weekend because God forbid he takes a day off. I told him take the fucking Monday off. So he gets it. First night, he's like, my shoulder's just a little sore. And the next day, he's like, well, I'm hungry. I'm just tired. And then, like, Sunday, I literally go to walk past him, and he's like, it was a good idea taking tomorrow off, tell you that much. Like, he had this, like, fuck me. He's like, I am glad I don't have to go to work. And I was like, I told you weren't going to want to go to work tomorrow, or Monday to take it off. And he's like, thank God I got tomorrow off. Like, he just had this, like, like, the like, you've been in the shit for too long stare, just like, boy, am I tired.
You're like, Dad, you're not even looking at me. I'm over here.
Yeah, he's like he was in Vietnam for too long. He's just glad I don't have to go back tomorrow. But yeah, no, I mean, after a few days, I was fine. But I did work out through both of them. Can't stop, won't stop. Ah! My shirt's awkward. I got my tattoos showing. It's back in my prison days. All right, so this movie, I mean, everybody knows it. We got to get back to it. We got to actually give it a score.
Yeah.
Like I said, my favorite characters are Randy Quaid, how do you not love Jeff Goldblum in anything he's virtually
He's amazing.
in?
Yeah.
Like, the whole, like, there's several iconic lines that came out of this, too, like, must go faster. Oh, that was Jurassic Park. But he does it in this one, too, though, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does
when
this.
they're in the ship.
And then when I think Will Smith has a line that really touches my heart. Yeah, he goes, oops. And he, what oops? What oops? Oops is not good.
No.
Yeah, Goldblum is his quick witty, his father with my David. Like that's every time I hear him, I have a hard time.
A lot of the quips between Goldblum and Will Smith were all
ad-lib.
They were all made. They weren't in script. Yeah,
that's pretty good. I always love when a movie does that. That's why the knocked up movies and that's why those movies are so successful because they literally go, okay, we're gonna riff. And we're going to film it, and we're going to choose what we're doing. And I love those type of comedies because that also lets the actor who's also got a comedic mind, like a dude like Danny McBride, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, even James Franco. But those guys, Craig Robinson from The Office, like that's why The Office is such a great show.
Good at that too.
But that's why
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he there's a lot of his movies where
the king of it.
Liar.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb
and Dumber was that way too, though. Where it was just like we're gonna take several takes and. Like, I love those because you really do get to see, like, the actor inside of it. That's why, like, I hate to go back to them, but movies like Superbad and shit make you feel like you know those actors so well because it is an extension of them, except for Michael Cera in This Is the End. Have you guys ever seen This Is the End?
I have not seen that, no.
Michael Cera makes a cameo in it where he's just, like, on cocaine the whole time. And like he's literally got like a mirror with it and he goes up to McLovin and he's like, hey, does this smell like cocaine? And he blows it in his face. And McLovin's like, I've never fucking done cocaine, dude. And like he's freaking it is if you haven't seen This Is the End, it is probably, in my opinion, the best of those as far as like laughs per minute. Maybe not the best structure, but Back to Independence Day. I'm not going to give too much away if you haven't seen it. Why? I mean, it's a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's more than 20 years old. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's when
Yeah.
didn't Resurrection come out around its like 20th or 21st or something year?
It was 2016.
Yeah. So that would have been 20 years from
Yeah.
96.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Resurrection wasn't bad. It's just you can't recapture the
I
magic.
have to watch it. Yeah,
It's a decent alien disaster flick. Like it's not shit. It's
Okay.
just not the original. That's all. It's hard to It's Godzilla 2000 isn't the original Godzilla.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is you get the better CG. So it's like I do like when they do a sequel to these type movies because you get to see the progression. Like this is
Yeah.
what they were able to do in '96. This is what they were able to do in 2016. And I always kind of appreciate that because it's like, you're seeing your childhood reimagined almost with better visuals, and it's nice in that regard.
Unless they fucking shit the bed and did really bad.
Well, are you? It
On
also,
certain- on
it also-
certain.
it's also like what type of person you are because there is the crew of like Star Wars loyalists that
Oh,
think
God.
the updated ones with the better CG are shit, and they want the original mono VHS cassette. And I'm the type of guy where it's like I think the better CG makes it more enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
I like updated. Like if you're not changing the story and you're just making the ships in it look better, I want it. That's me.
I'm a Star Trek fan, so
Oh, you lousy! I never watched Star Trek. Like I've seen old
Star
Star
Trek's
Trek,
So,
but I never got into like all the different '90s shows they had. So
no, I actually watched the original Star Trek show. I like it a lot. I'm
Even-
probably one of the rare few that say I like it a lot.
even the one where he's
It's
fighting the
still
green
good.
alien.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The worst,
I
the
want-
worst fight scene ever.
Or
It
Spock
is.
versus Kirk.
I'm a
Yep.
Battlestar
Yeah.
Galactica boy.
Yeah, but original Star Trek changed once they started doing movies, though. Like the show got
Yeah.
canceled, and then the movies came out, and they were a whole different level because they actually had budget and they weren't as cheesy. And
Yeah.
that's when you had, Picard come in, and he was the central figure in a lot of it. I haven't watched his show, the Picard.
It's okay.
I hear it's
It's
more
okay.
melodrama and politics than it is a story about Picard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to Star Wars. I feel like it's episode 1, 2, and 3.
Hey, man, hey, here's the thing, right? And I will always defend this. Have you watched Star Wars episode 1 through 3 lately?
Yes, I have.
No.
They are the most action you get in any
Yeah.
Star Wars movie.
That is true.
Attack
I will
of the
give you
Clones is a lightsaber a minute. Force, the last one they did is literally one lightsaber battle. So say what you
That's
want
true.
about them, but if you want Star Wars action, you have to go to 1 through 3. Specifically
That's
number
true.
2 and number 1 with the kitty shit and the pod racing. I actually still think is pretty cool. And I love Jar Jar Binks. I thought it was funny. People hated him. Whatever. You want Star Wars action?
was nuts,
You
though.
got to go to episode 2 and 3. Otherwise, it's a lack of lightsaber battles. That and like Star Wars episode 2 and 3 are basically the live versions of the Clone Wars TV show.
Yeah.
And the other Star Wars are just they're Star Wars. They're more drama and lore than they are action set pieces, and that's also probably a reason why why is everybody gonna hate on Qui-Gon Jinn? I don't get it.
He's great. I love Qui-Gon
There's
Jinn.
nothing wrong with Qui-Gon. It was just Jar Jar and fucking little Anakin.
Well, little Anakin. I mean, he deserved to crash in the pod racer and flip off into a fucking rock midway through. But yeah, no, I don't know. I like the 1 through. I watched the first one not too long ago. I dug it more than I used to. Because you watch them from different eyes, and it's like when you watch them all together, and if you're looking for action, you really got to watch 2 and 3 in order to get the majority of the action in the entire series.
Mm.
And it's good lightsaber battles. Like it's not stupid. Like he did a good job making them. It's just they weren't the same. And how do you make them the same though? How do you make what you literally created something that never was? You brought it to audiences. How do you redo that? You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
That's why nobody can do a good Terminator. Because the only one that can do a good Terminator is the creator. He made it.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way you can recreate T2. Like not even the movie itself, just like that
Everything.
reaction that movie got.
You'll never have another Schwarzenegger. I mean, maybe The Rock, but if you put The Rock in a Terminator, nobody's gonna take it seriously. It literally
I
would
don't
be
know.
too big of a cliche for people to take it seriously.
That's true.
Like, I mean, imagine if they're remaking Terminator, huh? Who? The Rock. Huh. Okay. I mean, he's big enough. That's about like I like The Rock. I really do. He wouldn't fit. He doesn't make. I mean, unless he took the hardest turn he's ever taken in a movie, or they make another ungodly PG-13 version. By the way, Terminator Genesis is awesome. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The movie's fucking awesome.
Gonna have to watch that soon.
Independence Day. I think we're gonna give our ratings on this one. Anybody have anything to wrap up for Independence Day? I figure we've talked a lot about other things. I do believe it's one of those movies that you should have seen by now.
Yeah.
Alex, please go ahead.
This one has my favorite Baldwin of all, and he's not related.
He's not a Baldwin though. He's just got the same last name. You son of a bitch.
I said that.
I'm surprised he hasn't been canceled for his character in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
He had some not so nice lines in that movie.
Well, it wasn't his fault. It was the writing.
But it doesn't matter though, right?
No, it's the writing.
If we're going to attack everybody with the political correctness on a retroactive scale, why does a comedian who tells a joke under attack, but not an actor who was a racist in a movie, right? If we're going to attack performances, then every actor who's ever played a racist needs to be canceled. Ever.
Norton.
Yep, gone. Edward Furlong, he's been canceled by his own debauchery. Gone. Anybody who's ever said anything nasty or a racial slur in a movie,
Michael Rappaport
should be he should be canceled because he's an asshole. Michael Rappaport.
I do like his videos though. Mom.
With the cat or a dog or whatever it is. Yeah, those are hilarious.
But he's been doing it with different shit now.
So I know you guys don't.
There's a fucking bear in the backyard.
Nobody looks at Barstool here except for me. They actually had hired him and then fired him because he was
what?
So he was doing a show or something, and he shit talked the audience on air, and Dave Portnoy heard it and fucking fired him immediately. So then Dave Portnoy did an interview and a T-shirt, and there was a photo of Michael Rappaport where he had a cold sore. So in the interview, he alluded to Michael Rappaport having herpes, and then made a T-shirt with
that is a cold sore.
Made the T-shirt with this face of the image of him with the cold sore,
Nice.
and it was like had different colorations. And Michael Rappaport recently sued him and lost because he wasn't able to prove that they slandered him at all. And if you go on YouTube, the deposition of Dave Portnoy is on there with Rappaport's attorney, and he shreds the guy. He out-talks the guy 100 to 1 and puts the attorney in circles and proves why. And he basically posted like, yeah, this is why we didn't lose this lawsuit. I love Barstool. I love Dave Portnoy. Whatever you think about the guy, him and I don't even agree 100% politically. I just think he's a ballsy, like, fuck you. This is me. This is my company. You're not going to tell me what to do. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. That's from his pizza show. He's got a pizza review show. We got a movie review show. We're on YouTube. We're kind of related, right?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Alex, anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm ready for reviews when you guys are.
Giovanni, newest member.
When you guys suggested this movie, it brought back a lot of memories. And the movie itself held up really well. I love it. I love alien movies.
Louis.
Yeah.
David.
That's the third name.
David.
My Louis. That's your mom.
man.
Gotta call my mother.
My mother.
Man, you had mentioned you would use the first Star Wars as a reference to say you had said something about like digitally restoring it. I think it would be cool. I love this movie. I think it's perfect. I think it would be cool if they just redid the CGI.
Like use 2016's Resurrections CGI.
Yeah. Keep the film like up-resed 4K and everything, and just like redid the CGI.
Yeah.
Re-release it. All the acting, everything in this movie holds up. It does look a little dated, but granted, I have my nostalgia glasses on.
Especially at the higher resolutions, the CGI it doesn't hold up. But you know, as we say, you take it in context. This was '96. Mr. Nanny came out in '93.
Most of it was just the explosions and shit, and
yeah,
but it'd be interesting to see with the technology in filmmaking that we have if they will start doing stuff like that, like messing with older films
I think
and
they should.
digitally restoring certain aspects of it.
They've been
Not
remastering
adding shit. Not adding shit.
but they've been remastering video games for years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's that same concept of leave the footage you filmed, replace the CGI. Leave the
So
film.
there's a whole
Yeah.
damn
you know.
company that's what they do. Demon Souls is a perfect example.
And, well, there's been a lot of. I mean, whether you want now. Here's the thing, though. The problem with like even Demon Souls, that was a restructuring.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was a 1-to-1 remake. So, like, that's the thing is you got to be careful what line you toe, because especially in the video game realm, Resident Evil 2 remake is not the same layout as Resident Evil 2 the old. Same thing with Resident Evil 3 and so on and so forth. And that's where they got to be careful. They need to go with the Lucas approach, where he went in and this needs to look better. I have the technology to do this. The planets look better. The ships look better. The space looks better. But the movie is the same. The moving parts are the same. There's no extra shit shot for it. The story doesn't change one iota. The dialogue doesn't, but everything that's supposed to pop now pops again. The only problem is I don't know how receptive audiences would be, because you would have that elitist audience of like, why would you fuck with the original? And then you'd have but once again, if you did that, you do open up Independence Day to an entire new generation of kids born after this movie even came out that doesn't, because they're born into a society of CG, a la the Avengers movies or whatever monster you want to talk about nowadays. You may open this movie up because you show this movie to a fucking 10-year-old and it looks old.
It's really the best way to honor the movie too, like just going in there, updating it,
re-release it in
and just
theaters,
let it go.
do a 4K Blu-ray of it that has it all updated. Don't go ahead and I mean, I'm sorry if you can give $50 million to Zack Snyder to finish scenes in his fucking movie so he could supplement that blurry piece of shit. You can use some budget to redo this. But yeah, you don't do it like they did with Tig Navarro, where literally in one scene, as she backs up out of the shot, the blur starts to take over her fucking body. That's not how you do it. Sorry, Zach. Grief makes you do weird things. I get it. Let's for me, I don't really. I mean, I love the movie. It's it is dated, but it never, even to this day, it doesn't bother me. Like it just
great.
Yeah, there's no issues with it. I mean, and not only that, but Roland Emmerich, and we'll talk about it a little bit in the next movie we review, has a thing for having giant set pieces with hundreds of extras.
Yes.
Like that whole scene where all the RVs are trying to leave and it's across the desert. Like, he is a great filmographer for things like that. Just the giant, like, that's why Mad Max Fury Road was so popular, because nobody had seen giant set pieces in real practical effects like that in such a long time, that it is still a spectacle of like, oh wow, no shit. But I think we're ready if you guys are for the hot dogs. We're gonna let Giovanni go first.
With barring the CG, barring the time, the way it looks, the chemistry between the characters, the story's great. It's a great alien action movie. The destruction is phenomenal. It definitely satisfying if that's what you're looking for.
The tunnel scene is a little bad looking when she escapes.
It is.
It is. That's one of the few that stands out. I'm like, eh.
And some of the parts when the cars are flipping down the fucking streets.
Yeah, it has that Armageddon jank.
I did like that the fire truck was fucking.
The fire truck. He's like,
the sirens are going off. The sirens are going off, and the fire truck's flying through.
Yeah, how do you not feel bad for that guy too?
Yeah,
I kind of do. Yeah,
just trying to get to his mother.
Yeah,
dead.
I'm gonna give this 5 hot dogs out of 5 for sure. It's a top for me. I love it.
That is a high rating amongst these members, though, my friend. Lewis.
Yeah, I'll go next. This is easily a 4 out of 5 for me. If you are into disaster movies and you have not seen this should be on your list. Even if you're not a fan of kind of like no, not Will Smith. Everyone was a fan of Will Smith in the 90s. Because some people like the more serious disaster movies, like the more like epic scale. Some people don't really care for like the aliens, and the aliens could seem a little hokey depending on your taste.
That scene when they go
also
to
the
when he
story.
comes alive and he takes the doctor control and he's like, oh,
Yeah,
that
you know,
scene creeps
that's
me
still
out.
such a with the
Yep.
way the tentacles make the noises.
Yeah.
That's still a crazy creepy scene,
It's
man.
fucking responses, man. They nailed it. Like it was great.
The
Peace.
ghost like voice that he's using, like, and then one of my favorite lines in it's your buddy Mr. Baldwin, where he's like, "Does that have bulletproof glass on it?" And he's like, "No, sir." And he's like, "Light it up!" And then he just, that's still one of the because then like they're all just using pistols, but the alien flies back 10 feet, which I still don't understand. But okay.
What's funny about that is that it was how quick they responded because they never said let's light it up. He just says, "Is that bulletproof
he
glass?"
says no.
And they say no, sir, and they all just fucking pull their guns.
You got to give it to Adam Baldwin. I know it's a small role, but the way he's just like, "No, sir," and he's already like badassing his gun out. Like as soon as the general like was that, but he heard bullet. He's like, "No, sir!" Like he was just itchy trigger finger the whole time. Like, let me shoot it. Let me shoot this fucking thing. Let me shoot it. It's got the doctor.
And then he does it again later when he's like, "Give me your sidearm." He does it to the next guy that's walking by. He takes the gun.
You gotta like Adam.
Shoot
Baldwin.
the can.
Gotta like Adam Baldwin. Except if you're, Vietnamese.
The other Baldwin.
Yeah, the other Baldwins who have no connection. Alec Baldwin's like, why is this guy taking my fucking name? I'm the Shadow, goddammit.
Because he's a better
So, yeah,
actor.
that's,
Sorry, I had to say it.
4 out of 5 for me.
I'm gonna agree. I'm 4 out of 5. Maybe it is like Lewis said, just childhood nostalgia. I think it's still a fun movie. And that's the point of it, is it's fun. It's just a fun, dumb movie. It's one of those movies that you don't have to think. Is hard, there's a lot of movies out there where it's like, no, you need to be contemplating your entire life by watching this movie. This movie's like, don't think about shit. Get some popcorn, maybe some whiskey. Enjoy. Maybe tobacco.
Look at the lights. Look at the lights.
Yeah, it is a roller coaster of a movie. Basically, you're going to be on this ride for 2 hours. Let the lights flash. Try not to have a seizure or pass out, and you'll have fun. Alejandro.
For me, I don't really like Will Smith in a lot of shit, but I find myself watching Will Smith's movies. No, it's the same character, and I can't stand it. I don't like seeing the Fresh Prince of Bel Air in every fucking movie.
He's not the same character in Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay, yeah, that's and I do like that movie.
It's a good movie.
He's not the same character in I Am Legend.
Okay, that's 2.
That's not necessarily true. He's pretty much just.
But he still has the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
He's another one that was Will Smith, the character and actor was
exactly
in his movies, some of them.
But I still find myself watching every fucking movie he's in.
Even Enemy of the State, you don't like?
I even watched fucking I don't know. No, I have not seen that one.
Gene Hackman. I love.
No, I haven't seen that
I'm
one.
not gonna lie. Even with little Shia LaBeouf.
What's that one where he fucking gets duplicated, cloned?
Multiplicity.
No. Will Smith, dude.
I love Multiplicity.
It's great.
I like that movie too. He gets cloned in the movie? What movie?
Jen
Yeah.
something. Jen.
Yeah,
Gemini.
he goes against his younger self.
Yes.
Oh, that movie was boring as shit.
I actually watched it and I
thought it was going to be
it.
like a lot of action scenes, and there was like 2. I was very disappointed.
Yeah,
in that
and it's
movie.
mostly him talking to himself like if it was his son.
Yeah, and it's Ang Lee, and like I get it's supposed to be a novel, but doesn't he have a kid that could have played him?
Yeah. But like I said, I still like ID4. I guess that's what you call it now.
All the cool
but
kids
it is a 4 out of 5 for me. There's nothing wrong with the movie except for the CGI that could be changed. But even for the time that it was made, it still fucking looks great. It still plays well. And it doesn't. What's the word that you said? It ages well.
Yeah, it ages more like wine than milk. That's for sure.
But I did enjoy it. 4 out of 5.
All right, guys. We're gonna take a quick break. Contemplate suicide. We'll be right back with you.
All right, on to our next film, The Patriot. So this came out June 28th, which is 2 days from now.
Yep.
Because we filmed this in the past when you're listening to this.
It had to come out around July 4th. This movie doesn't come around before, this isn't an October movie, you know what I mean?
No, and
It's a
so
Christmas
there,
movie.
I don't know. No, I had to have watched the extended cut for this because I have the Blu-ray.
Yeah, the Blu-ray is the extended.
I did see the
and
extended cut.
It's just dialogue.
I did not.
It's just
Yeah,
dialogue.
I couldn't notice. I couldn't notice the difference.
It's more like banter between him and the sister. Then between the kids, there's a couple talking scenes, and you have a little bit more of Heath Ledger, like when he was a soldier by himself. Like there's another scene where he's like I think like a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, some of that is a little bit extra.
Most of the letter writing shit. Is that maybe
a lot of the letter writing between him and the girl. There was only like one
now
or two.
I can see that.
There is no, and I actually, there's no extra combat, which I appreciate. But in the same token, if I'm watching the extended version, I would have loved like another battle scene, because some of the battle scenes in this movie are seemingly just like there. Like when he steps into the house and it goes through the window.
In the window.
It's almost like they're just watching it, like it's just there to show you that the war was fucking gruesome.
Yeah, and the sad thing about this movie is it didn't make a lot of money. Budget was 110 million, box office 215 million. That could be because it's a historical piece versus aliens.
It's a historical piece that has Mel Gibson in it, where he roams the country with a tomahawk and takes out the Reds.
He's not an American.
Yeah, I don't know if
he's an Aussie.
Does it have any ties? Yeah, but he's an Aussie, yet he doesn't do a fucking accent for this movie. He's literally the Kevin Costner of this movie. Because all of the first settlers in the Americas had fucking British accents, because that's where they came from.
Yep.
He's got nothing. He's got Riggs.
True.
No, yeah,
I saw Riggs a lot through this movie, though.
The historical authenticity in this movie is stretched very, very thin.
I mean, you got Malfoy's father out there. He's just roaming the countryside, murdering folk.
He plays a really good villain.
I love him. He's a good actor. He had a cop,
really good.
He had a show he was on. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like he was a cop that was like haunted by his wife. Or something. It was a weird show, but it was really good. And then they canceled it. Like it was another one of those like, oh, no ending.
Yeah, I hate that.
Like shit. I would rather have an HBO terrible ending than no ending. You know what I mean?
So this movie did receive quite a bit of criticism when it came out. There was a controversy for them faking reviews, which got them in trouble. And then the historical character that Benjamin Martin is based on is, I believe, a French guy named Francis Marion or Maron, whatever. So he did fight for the British and then jumped over, defected, but he was also, according to everything I found, a serial rapist.
Jesus.
Who liked to hunt Indians for fun.
Wait, he wasn't just the family man the movie portrayed?
No.
He wasn't
explains him using a tomahawk in the
He wasn't comically making rocking chairs and breaking them. He was raping people and murdering Indians.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean to take a depiction of that character, make him overtly patriotic. But to me, at the end of the day, I like period piece, historical fiction movies like this. I love watching documentaries on this time era, anything even back with the Jacobites and the British. I like shit like this. But what made me love this movie growing up was because of fucking Martin Riggs.
Yeah, he gets to be all right.
He does that look. He goes.
Not only that,
I can't do it. But he got that.
This movie, one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema, is when they kill his son. From the moment they shoot his son, he is Martin Riggs.
His
flip on the switch.
It's not just him though. And this is the brilliance of making the movie. His children are fucking terrified of him.
Yeah.
They see him walk out of the house. No, it starts when he walks out of the house with the 3 fucking muskets or whatever, the 6 muskets.
It's on fire and he comes back out.
And he's just badass walking out of it. His children are terrified. Then the 2 PTSD boys he has, unfortunately for them,
he gives them the fucking biggest guns.
And it's just, you literally go from this. You're just imagine if somebody broke into your home and your father not only you watched your father not only defend your home, you watched him brutally murder these people. And he snaps. There's a moment in his head where it goes from being like, there's the grief, and then immediately the vengeance comes in.
Yeah.
And it's just a complete character switch. And literally the scene they take together between the three sons, because Heath Ledger sits there in his robes and looks worried. I think he bumps the guy.
Well, he doesn't really know what's going on yet.
And he's literally a ghost. They call him the ghost because he's set up the muskets on the different trees. He's running through the forest around there. The two boys are firing. There is the awesome scene where they lock in on the sons, and he's like, ah, with his axe.
Yeah, he causes distraction.
Makes me fucking laugh every time. And he just plows through 20 or so men, and it is one of the most badass fucking scenes, and one of the most like heart-wrenching on the kids' angle, because they watch him do this and they participate. They themselves murder redcoats, but then the next thing they see him is driving his hatchet continuously into a dead body, and when he reemerges, his hair is crazy. He's just blood from head to toe.
Blood on his face and his mouth and shit, yeah.
And they do such a good job of looking at the children, because the children, like the one son later on, doesn't even look at him anymore. Like, you know, and then that kind of gives you, for every line of dialogue where they talk about the myth of Benjamin before they tell you what he actually did, which is in its own right fucking horrific.
Yeah, and I do like, before you see him explode all throughout the movie, the scenes of, like, his kids pushing him of, like, well, what happened back then? And they know, like, just when to stop, because as soon as he says, like, I'm not talking about it, like, everyone just drops it.
Well, then you have the scene in the courthouse where the Chris Cooper, I can't remember his character's name, but even tells him, like...
General Harry Burwell.
Where he's like, out of all people, you know, everybody knows the story of... And the kids just... Story? Like, even you get the impression even the sister-in-law doesn't know who this man really is. You know what I mean? Like, and I made a joke because Jen's like, he's getting awfully familiar with the sister, huh? And I'm like, well, it probably makes it easy when you think about it. She probably looks a lot like his wife. Like, they are sisters. It probably is an easy transition to, like, you're lonely. She looks close enough. You probably have a decent relationship because, you know, you weren't a piece of shit serial rapist in this version.
Yeah, I was watching the movie with my wife, and she made a comment. She's like, "Why does Mel Gibson have so many sons?" And I'm like, there wasn't much to do back then.
Wasn't much to
drink and
drink, fuck, and there's no condoms.
There was no TV. There was no radio at that time.
No protection at all.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, "Did you see how fucking excited they got for mail? Like, there wasn't much to do."
So what was in the mail today?
And then they chased the mailman. They chased the mailman and fucking celebrated.
I mean,
there.
This is literally like. That's why the Catholics have the rule that you can't use protection, because back in the day they just didn't have it. So when it came about, they're like, no, we need as many Catholics as possible. That's why they banned it. It's got nothing to do with God. They're like, no, we need more of you. More Irish, come on.
When I did say make fun of them for getting excited about mail, she did give me shit. Because she's like, you were glued to the fucking window the other day waiting for your goddamn Xbox.
You were waiting for a beautiful Xbox Series S, though. Like, that's a little bit different.
Speaking of, how does she take that?
I always, like, when I order something and I'm waiting for it, I always equate it to that scene in Billy Madison where it's like, Nudie Magazine Day, Nudie Magazine Day. Like, when I order something, which is rare, that's what it's, and then it's like, if it's like, I'm waiting for clothes because I got some sleeveless shirts, show off the guns.
So what did she say when she found out you ordered it, speaking of the Xbox?
No, she was excited. I was joking about her getting pissed off.
Oh, okay.
See, Alex is like, Emmy would have hit me several times.
No, we're
no,
both adults.
she surprised me yesterday with the shopping spree.
Dude, I don't know if you want to talk about that amount of weight you threw around on the show, though. I'm just saying, that's some fat guy.
That's why I said shopping spree. That's why I said shopping spree. I'm not going to say what she did. I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you, Giovanni, later. I think you saw that, right?
All right, she bought him a Chrysler.
He bought a jacket from Burlington Coat Factory.
And apparently, they don't return it when somebody throws red paint on it when you leave. I did this. So out of the two movies, I will say I prefer The Patriot.
I do too.
The Patriot is a different movie, though, entirely. It's obviously not going to be historically accurate, but it is another big 200 extras on a field. Fake cannons
was
are going
800.
off.
Fucking
They had
people
scenes
getting their
with
fucking
800
legs cut off.
extras.
800
People
extras.
getting their legs cut off by cannons.
800 extras.
The one guy gets beheaded by the cannon, and once again,
Dude, it bounces, right?
the combat
Yeah.
scenes feel a little disjointed.
That's realistic though.
Because it's literally
Yep.
like storyline. The first murder scene you understand, but then it's like storyline and footage of a battlefield that doesn't end well. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It feels a little out of place when it just kind of gets in there. Once again, when I was watching it, and I was watching it in 4K, and it doesn't. The transfer's okay. The film itself doesn't hold up. There is the scene when they're on the dock with all the ships that was CG that didn't
It
look
looks rough. Yeah.
Yeah, it
That
wasn't
was
so.
at the end, right?
you
That
can
was
even
at
No,
see
no,
it.
right
I
at
was
the
watching
beginning.
it
Right at the
standard.
beginning too.
Okay.
As they're traveling, I think
When
to
they
the
were
town
walking
hall.
through the city
Yeah.
and the
I
ships
thought-
that were being built.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was when the French arrived. Okay.
So I'd see, and I will say I don't even know his name, but the French actor in this movie has a very soft spot in my heart because of one movie, which is Kiss of the Dragon. He is the bad guy in Kiss of the Dragon with Jet Li. If you ever have seen the trailer, he has the line where he's like, "There is a time for diplomacy, and that time is gone." Like, if you've never seen Kiss of the Dragon,
It
it
sound
is
like Arnold. Sorry.
a little bit. It went towards it's time. It's 2:37 in the morning, and God can't be perfect.
Oh, I just realized Donald Logue. Is that how you say his
Yeah,
name?
yeah, the bad guy
Yeah,
from
so
Blade.
Yeah, he.
One?
My wife's a librarian, and she was just doing an ALA conference the other day, and Donald Logue was interviewing Danny Trejo,
Nice.
and it was a live interview, and it was pretty much Donald trying to stop Danny Trejo from swearing the whole time for about an hour.
I
and
wish
a half.
I'd have been there. Fuck.
It was
why?
funny, but also a bit awkward.
Cool trivia. Donald Logue and I always called him Loogie when I was a kid, and Danny Trejo were in episodes of Sons of Anarchy together, but not in the same scenes.
Oh shit!
Yep. Danny Trejo was playing the cartel / CIA.
They were also in a movie together, and I can't think of what the fucking
Did you guys
movie
ever?
was.
Did you ever watch?
He's
his,
also going to be in Resident Evil. We talked about it last week. He's going to be in Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Did anybody
Who,
ever
Danny
watch that?
Trejo?
No,
No,
Donald
no,
Logue.
Donald Logue.
Oh,
I remember Alex
Logie.
kept, when I was young, was like, "Have you seen the movie The Tao of Steve?" Like, you used to love that fucking movie.
The Tao of Steve. Yeah, because it was kind of I'm a big guy, and to see a big guy like that,
Well,
get
he's
that
had
much,
some weight fluctuation too.
Yeah,
Have you guys ever watched his show Terriers that only got one season, but it was an incredible show?
Yeah. yeah.
That show was
No.
so good. It had him and the dude from True Blood, who was the fake Cajun guy, who ends up he was like the murderer. He was like the murderer in season 1, I think, or 2 maybe. Dupree, Renee, I think it was his character's name. But it's him and Donald Logue, and it literally it was like they were like PIs. It was such a good show, and they canceled after one season, and that's why I hate Disney. They had nothing to do with it, but fuck them, throw them in there.
Blame him anyway.
What is your guys' like? Everybody knows my favorite scene in the movie is the opening where I say opening because the movie's 2 hours and 2.5 fucking hours long, but
Sure.
the first 20 minutes of like build up of peaceful guy, he's anti-war, and then he flips that switch, and then that scene. What is your guys' favorite? If it is that scene, I completely understand. But what do you guys? What's your favorite about it? What's your favorite scene? We'll say.
I don't know about a favorite scene. I really like. I enjoy the whole movie.
It is one of those movies that you can't watch just a scene of. Like we talked, and I posted a
Oh,
clip
yeah.
about it earlier of us talking about how like I can kind of skip through movies and just I can't do that with this movie. It's just
Yeah.
it sucks me in every time, man.
This movie, when it starts, I mean, there are slow parts to it, but those slow parts are just as key to the story when you get to the action. I mean,
Because it's actually telling a
whole way
story.
through.
It's not just fucking filler.
yeah.
It's telling a story.
For-
It says things.
For me, it's Mel Gibson's the character he's playing. Because I was trying to tell, I was trying to talk to my wife about it. Like, his character in this movie is what resonates for me in my favorite horror films. Like a lot of people like slashers and stuff like that. Like some of my favorite horror films, or even acting in movies, revolves around grief. Like you look at movies like two of my favorite movies, Midsommar and Hereditary. They're both movies about grief and overcoming it. And this movie, like, fucking Mel Gibson's character is battling, grieving sins he's done in the past, and also losing his wife. And you can see it with all the conversations he has. Like, he either doesn't want to talk about what happened to his wife, or he doesn't want to talk about who he was when he was a redcoat. And the whole movie is him, like, having to being forced to atone to both of those. And I think he like, I'm a huge Mel Gibson fan, but I think this movie is some of his best acting.
Yeah.
And it even, like, even if you take away the scene Matt brought up, if you get rid of all the action, like the just him having a process showing his kids who he really can be. And then you got to think, like, those kids got to fucking live with that, too.
So, so this movie, and one of the reasons I like Ransom so much is because it's got kind of the same caliber of acting. If you haven't seen Ransom, and I actually haven't seen Ransom in a long time, but if you see the movie Ransom with him, it was honed in Mel Gibson. He's completely in the character, much like this. And, yeah, I mean, his one daughter she won't speak ever since the mother died. She's very young. Yeah. Some of the best scenes, as far as his acting, in my opinion, were the ones with him and Ledger. You know, that you have that.
Oh,
that whole scene.
I like the scene. I like the scene where he finally admits to him what he did.
Yeah, and Ledger's face.
He gets up and he's ready to walk away, but he starts telling him the story, and he turns around really fast.
Well, then
he's finally getting close to his dad.
If I remember correctly, one of the iconic lines that was in the trailer was where Ledger's like, "I'm not a child," and he's like, "You're my child," and he's got that like strained Mel Gibson throat thing he does. That is one of my, as far as sheer acting, but it is a little jarring to find out that the real guy was like a serial rapist, though.
Yeah,
because you love growing up, you love the character so much, and then you're like, by the way, the real guy, not a fan of Indians, serial rapist, pretty overall bad dude. Yeah.
Well, but one of the things he's hiding is that they murdered the French and Indians, correct?
Well, it was mainly a slaughter on the French, though.
Yeah. But there was Indians involved, and that's when the Indians decided, hey, we're not going to fuck with them anymore.
that was when
we're going to side with them now.
That was when the British Empire was colonizing. You see, because there was a time when history said that it wasn't just Americans who colonized and were evil. Mm-hmm. But we'll forget about that.
Are they pilgrims? I'm not sure. What's going on?
They all. I mean, and here's the thing that's great about, and one of the things I never understood was the standing, 30 yards across each other and firing.
And
and I love that there was even a line in the movie that Mel Gibson's like, "What the fuck are they doing?" He's like, "They're standing toe to toe with the redcoats, like this is a normal war," and it shows you that not only was the American way of doing things entirely different than the British, but so is their thought of what war should be was different. They shoehorn it a little. It's almost like the Forrest Gump of Revolutionary War movies, where it's like, hey, we're going to throw in there that war tactics are being developed and this is where they started. What's that? The tattered American flag? It was finished by this kid. They kind of throw shit in there, but which I forgive because I love the movie. So, the villain, Mr. Malfoy, is one of the biggest, even Cornwallis. There's this scene where he's like, what you do reflects upon me. And he has to reiterate, you take quarter for soldiers who are injured. Yep. You have to stop this slaughter of these people. The one line he has that I think is brilliant is, these are our brethren and we will have to have commerce once the war is over with them.
Right.
Yep. And it shows that war is a business. That's all it is. It's a business of colonizing.
Even when you meet him first early on, when Mel Gibson and his family are tending to all the wounded, even the officer who Mel Gibson first talks to was still shocked when he told him kill them all. And he's like, "What?
Kill them all."
Whoa. You feel bad for that dude because he takes it right in the forehead. He's the first one done.
Yeah,
he's the only one that's showing some semblance of humanity,
and he was popped by one of the kids too, right?
Yeah,
one of the kids did it.
Yeah,
yep.
Well, yeah, Gibson. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's actually several scenes that they show where they ambush them. There's a whole montage where literally the one carriage blows up. There's some shit that probably wouldn't actually happen back then, but for the spectacle of it, I also have a soft spot for the South regarding the nature and the trees and how beautiful it is. So every scene in this movie is beautiful to me because it's just the trees are behind them and or the open plains. Like because I'm a northerner and I've always lived in a city, you don't see that. So like anytime I get out of the city, I'm just like haha, like looking at all the nature and everything.
Are your feet behind your head going like that?
But yeah, I'm literally sitting
While
on
driving?
I'm sitting on
his stomach. Well, maybe he's not driving.
Jen's driving, and I'm on my stomach on the back window, just in my
With his
cargo
feet in the
in my
back.
cargo department. Just, yeah, no. So like when I see movies like this, that you can tell a lot of it was like because the trees and shit are obviously all real because they would look like garbage if they weren't. You know
They're
what I
all
mean?
paper
CG wise, like they're all. It's actual.
No trees were harmed during this movie, right?
Well, yeah, or CG'd.
Maybe horses, but
You always feel bad for the horses.
I think it comes up
Mel
after this
Gibson,
scene. I think it comes up after this scene
he
behind me.
stabs a horse right in the heart.
Right,
And then they even have the gall to show a quick scene where the horse like breaks his neck and shit. Like, bam. I'm like, oh fuck.
So we've gone over the main plot, which is a father coming to terms with his sons being murdered and going off to war, going back to war himself after already being there. The subplot is between Malfoy and Mel Gibson being Malfoy kills.
We keep on calling it Malfoy. I'm picturing a really weird movie in my head.
Can you imagine him just blonde in this movie, like white blonde?
Yeah.
But he kills not one but two sons of his. So there is a vengeance story subplot as well.
The
Not
first
the first
one,
one. I think
the
the
first one, that's his
second one.
fault. That's his fault.
No, because
Thomas.
No. The thing about it is they make it not his fault with the one line when Gibson is saying they're holding their soldiers, their officers, and it's just the scarecrows they built of them. Because he tells him, he goes, I don't often, it's a war is a messy business, and I don't often get to enjoy it like basically saying that killing his son was a pleasure. And that was the son that. So they make him clearly the bad guy for that, and even though the kid does,
He said that because he found out that that's the ghost, and he wanted to antagonize him because he says we're not going to do nothing because he came here on his own free will, and he came bearing the white flag. And he goes, and we're not going to harm him. And he goes, oh, we're not going to harm him unless he does it, right? So he tried to antagonize,
but he's clearly not like the fact that his superior
so he's a piece of
Cornwallis
shit,
he's clearly painted as like villain,
but
like even Cornwallis isn't a villain.
Even later on in the movie, when he's like, "Listen, there's some shit I gotta do. I'm not gonna be able to go back."
We both know that I won't be
Cornwallis
looked good upon. Yeah, that whole like slimy.
What the fuck, dude?
But my thing was about Thomas was he didn't want to respect what his dad was trying to teach him, and he said, "No, we're gonna do this because I'm patriotic." Because everybody and that was his own. That's just me being like.
I mean, here's the thing: is I think if you're dealing with civilized people, a 13-year-old or 15-year-old who bumps into a couple soldiers and isn't armed doesn't get shot. That's barbaric. That's war crimes.
Yeah.
That's why war crimes exist. That's why it's integral later on when there's the scene when the British go to surrender to them, and Mel Gibson and the French dude just hacks them up. Yeah. That's why it's so integral, because there has to be a line drawn, and that's something that this movie really does make a pretty fine dictation of. Is this is war crime, and that's where a lot of Mel Gibson's shame comes from, because what they did back in the day was war crime, not war.
Yeah. And you and I, we were texting, and I said he has the worst luck, and you said he might have thought it was karma.
And I think that's one of the lessons that this movie tries to kind of portray, is it's a man, like Lewis said, atoning with his sins of his past, while in the same token trying not to become that again.
What I do like about the movie is what his wife told him is his constant battle through the whole movie. Mm-hmm. When he first loses his first son, he gets the revenge, and then he realizes, oh shit, I got to tone it back. There'll be time for revenge. Then he loses his
Ledger,
teammates. Yeah, and then when Ledger, that's when he cracked. Like, he cracked.
Well, that's when it was all about revenge. It wasn't about country anymore. It was about murdering this motherfucker. By the way, one of the, maybe not most gruesome, but just the fact that he takes it, the bayonet, and he doesn't quick. He slowly, like, you hear it like he's slicing bread going into the guy's throat, and you're like, you fucking earned that one, motherfucker. Like, I'm
Even if you don't
watching
see it,
watching that scene, I'm like Hulk Hogan, and I'm like, yeah.
Those bayonet blades are kind of curved, aren't they?
And
so when it went in, it created a hole.
It was a triangular cut. So literally
a bayonet. A hole.
Well, that was the nastiness of a bayonet. Is it wasn't. The Japanese ones were really sharp, but the Revolution, it was just like a hole punch in wherever you got stabbed.
Yeah, it was
and like
created
said,
to bleed
you don't
out.
see it, but the sound, holy shit,
his gurgling, a little bit of the gurgling.
Yeah.
My only thing about that whole build up was when he's sitting there on his knees and he drops his head. It's like, oh, come on, like is that really what it is? Like he drops his head to the side or whatever.
I do
when he's going to slice his head or whatever.
I do find it very interesting that one of the main ideas that Cornwallis was talking about, and it was factually pretty correct, is the biggest asset you could have was land in the new country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you think about what this country went through in its own civil war and everything, that's quite it's some pungent statements they make on the fact that like the new gods and the new matriarchs will basically be landowners, and
a lot of that shit's still happening now.
Yeah, to this day, there's still land disputes, and we're still fighting. You know, it's quite crazy. But you know, it's that people want to look at history in kind of a bubble, and they want to retroact like what we find as our values today. They like to apply them to the past, and unfortunately, whether people like it or not, and this is 4th of July, so I'm going to say it. Everybody colonized. Yeah. There is that whole thing of like, you know, Columbus was this, and then it's like, okay, but be honest. And one lie that I don't like that's portrayed is that the Spaniards ever came in and wiped out the Indians. And the truth of it was a 400-year war filled with brutality on both sides. And the truth of that was before anybody came to colonize the lands, they were fighting amongst themselves for the land. That's what we did
all the time.
Now we're in a world where there's not much land to conquer, and the one that is the only reason we do take over land is for resources like oil and shit. America's very well known for that. Now,
oh yeah.
But the problem is we want to change the education in schools, and it's like you have to look at
critical race theory bullshit.
Oh jeez.
Oh my god.
I am glad that states are banning that. And if you don't know what critical race theory is, it's basically the idea that no matter what you do, if you are a person of color, the cards are stacked against you and for the person that is not the person of color, i.e. pale faces like myself. And the inherent problem...
Or this Puerto Rican guy that looks very much more white.
The inherent problem with critical race theory is you are teaching children at the base level, if they are a child of color, that they are less than that child because that child is not a child of color. And that is really where the problem comes into it. You can hate white people all you want, I'm used to it, believe me. But when you start teaching children that they are less than the child next to them and will therefore have a disadvantage their entire life, and there's no reason to strive forward and work hard and become something, that's where I have a problem. Because that's not education, that's indoctrination. These children have enough shit going on. They don't need to grow up being told by their teachers and principals and counselors that, sorry little kid, because you're black, you're less than him. That's bullshit.
It's also not true.
No,
it's not true at all.
There is a video out there right now of a black dude. He has 2 medical degrees, and he basically says, how the hell could this be true when nothing held me down? I worked hard. I put myself through school. I have 2 medical degrees. And he's like, right here, I disprove critical race theory. Morgan Freeman has a very famous quote when he was on Don Lemon one time. Don Lemon said, wouldn't you, paraphrasing, wouldn't you agree that there is a element in this country that is designed to hold people of color down? And Morgan Freeman looked at him and said, how could you say that's true? Look at me, look at you, look at the position we're in, the money we make. If that was true, how could we be where we are? Now, that is not to say that we do not have issues. There is a lot of issues, both racial tension and other things. But in my opinion, I've maintained this for a long time, a lot of the racial issues are tied to economic status. In my opinion, we have a much worse economic issue than we do a racist issue. Because I tell you right now, when the riots came close to me, all of my neighbors are black. I am on the south side of Chicago. It didn't matter. We talked to each other. We made sure, you guys good, you guys good. My neighbors next door, right next door to me, who were there for me the day my mother died and was wheeled out of the house, they're black. Doesn't matter, because it doesn't. The only way it matters is when people say it matters, and it's bullshit. The color of your skin means nothing. Zero. And that's if we all looked at it like that, well, you're not Puerto Rican, I'm not white, we're Americans, and we come together to produce a somewhat workable show. I had to do something, but that's the truth of it. It's just enough with this shit. Like, we gotta stop. I'm sorry, we gotta stop letting the media feed us the hate too.
Yeah.
You know, how many videos do you see of hate compared to niceness? And I'm susceptible to that to myself. It's much easier to say, "Nah, fuck these people," and this is why. But you know, it's harder to say, "Hey, this is." But I try to do that every time I see a nice type thing. It's like, "Hey, don't see this very often," because you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that Giovanni looks like the bad guy from Iron Man 1. It is okay. We still love him. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Alex's image and I'm going to just take some off the beard and round out the face, and that'll be your image. All right, so Patriot, like I said, there's a subplot with the revenge story. Then you have the Revolutionary War being another subplot, and then you have the plot of, well, that's the main plot, really. It does end satisfying. You do lose Heath Ledger, you lose Thomas, but it does wrap up nicely to the point where towards the end, the little girl says "Daddy," and like she talks, and you know the kids start to come around to like.
Yeah.
When he left, I think what happened was he had been with him for so long, and he scared the shit out of him so badly that he had to leave to kind of like to where they missed him. And once there was the idea of like Daddy may not come back, then it became much more for them of like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose another parent. Like, I love Aunt What's-Her-Face, but this sucks. So you see the daughter talk to him. He obviously builds a relationship with the aunt that is more than just friendly.
He starts banging her.
Boom. Put it bluntly. Anybody have anything they want to say to wrap up how you feel about it? I love this movie, frankly. One of my favorite movies of all time. I love Mel Gibson. There's only a few other Mel Gibson movies, obviously the Lethal Weapon movies, but people don't give him enough credit. There's movies like that he was in that they don't talk about anymore because you can't really find them. Like now it just completely left my brain. Payback, movies like Payback, like Ransom that you don't hear about, that are all this. That was his zone of like 5 years of post Lethal Weapon, but you still got a little bit of Riggs in every role.
Yeah.
And I still love him to this day. But yeah, I love this movie. So please go on.
Yeah, this is probably this is the number one movie I think of when I think of like a Independence Day movie.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Mel Gibson. Also, if you haven't seen Fat Man, please go check that out.
Yep.
Not only Fat Man, check out Small Town Crimes. Everything those guys do, those guys make really good movies.
Yeah, but I do think this movie does feature some of his best acting, as far as character work, and the rest of the cast is awesome too. Is it Isaac Clarke? Is that Voldemort or not Voldemort?
Yeah, Malfoy. Yeah, that's his name. Isaac Clarke.
Yeah. I
Great
think he does a good
Jason
job in
Isaacs.
this movie. Jason Isaacs. That Isaac Clarke is from Dead Space. I'm really tired.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. He does a great job in this movie. I also like the other general who we fucking said his name earlier.
Cornwallis. Tom Wilkinson.
Yeah, Tom Wilkinson. He's a really good actor. I don't know. Everyone in this movie is really good.
He was actually really good in
they're all
the
good.
later. Wasn't he in the later Mission Impossible movies too? I think he played
think
like Alec
so.
Baldwin takes up I think his role at some point, but he was in I think a couple of the later Mission Impossible movies.
I do agree with Matt though, or I don't know if if this is what you meant, but this movie does. It's a really long movie that sort of takes some jumps and leaps.
Yeah.
That the movie was long enough that it kind of could have padded it out a little more. Like in just the first 20 minutes alone, you go from Heath Ledger, like showing up to the assembly with them to like it's 4 years later and he's like established.
Yeah.
But he looks the same age. Like I don't know. There's some weird like kind of jiggering this movie does, but it like Matt said, it is one of my favorite patriotic movies.
And there's so much. I mean, he literally shoves a flagpole into a horse for America.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He uses
in
it.
the
He
movie,
picks it up off the.
Hold the
And like that
line!
whole scene too is like quasi slow mo. Like it keeps going back and forth of like
Yeah.
him looking at the flag and like giving you the Riggs face. You know, like it's very much meant to be like
He's trying to get him to hold the line.
Roland Emmerich was trying to do the World War II. You know, where they're like holding up the flag on this shit with this one.
Yeah, I do also agree with Matt being a Midwest kid. A lot of like Southern like cinematography in films like really captures my eye.
That's why one of the reasons I think we love horror movies, because you don't get many horror movies in major cities. Think of
Yeah.
most of the slasher movies are out in the boonies somewhere in nature. That's why there's always something like you can tell a horror movie by where it's set. Like very few horror movies.
You can't have
know,
a Michael Myers or Jason on the south side of Chicago. He'd be lit up by like 3 different gangs.
but you
trying
can
to
have a
Candyman.
Candyman. Yeah,
That's for Candyman.
So the new
Yeah.
trailer, the only part that really it looks like a good trailer, but the part that gave me goosebumps was the end when you hear whoever's playing Candyman give the gristled Candyman tone, and then the trailer ends where literally they show Candyman's like form in bees, and then there's an officer in front like outside the car, and he gets like basically just dissipated by the bee. It looks. Check out the trailer if you haven't checked out the trailer for Candyman. Do that. Also check out the trailer for Halloween Kills. We're gonna have to figure out when those come out. Like maybe I'll go to a movie theater on a Tuesday at 10 in the morning, and just.
I told Shay, I was like, I might have to go fucking see the new Halloween movie in theaters.
It looks. If it doesn't come to some sort of VOD, like if it's $20 to rent, I'll do it that way. But if it's if it doesn't come to VOD within the first couple weeks. Yeah,
the theater by me
I'll spend the money for
$20 a person. So for $20 for each of us, and an additional 20, so $100 between the 4 of us. You can rent out the whole room.
Just still doing that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
even for a new
You
run.
can do it. Even for a new run. Yep.
What theater is that?
That's how. It's this little Oak Park theater. That's how one of my buddies he saw the new Godzilla in theaters with just his family.
Oh, okay.
okay. Is there a minimum?
I
I
don't
want to
think so.
look into that. Look into that. There might be a minimum.
I mean,
Because he had 5 people.
Here's the thing,
So-
though. I'm not gonna lie. Like that sounds cool because I haven't been worried about Corona since it started. I just don't like.
It's
people.
more. Yeah, that's my thing. I just don't want people
Yeah.
standing up in front of me.
This
I don't want
pandemic.
people telling me, "Excuse me."
I already had such a short tolerance for people that this pandemic has like just shrank it to that because it's like I don't have to be by you.
Have you guys ever heard of the Planet Hollywood movie theater where they bring you food and shit?
Well, they have there's
No.
one out here too on 87th and Vincennes.
Yeah, like it's this
Studio
famous like
Grill.
Planet Hollywood theater. You sit in these roller chairs, like office chairs. You have a table in front of you. They bring you food and drinks while the fucking movie is running.
Yeah.
My wife and her family loves that theater. I fucking hate that theater.
Can you not bring my chili dog during the most integral emotional
Yeah.
scene, please?
We'll
And
be,
if you
we'll be
do it on
watching
the
the
side of
movie,
me,
and
do it on
they'll
the
come
side
up
of
and
me,
be
not
like,
in front of me.
"Excuse me, sir, do you need a refill?" I'm like, "Oh my god, go away."
Yeah,
Go the
my
fuck away.
chicken tendies can wait. Okay, I'm watching T2.
It'd probably be insane.
Get your buffalo
I'm
dog
watching
out of my
T2.
face, bitch. I'm watching. I don't know what kind of food. I assume it's like chicken nuggets and shit these places serve.
My wife
My wife
would not. We went to go see a movie, and we went to there. That's where we went. I can't remember what movie we saw because I was so pissed. The guy came back to ask if I wanted a refill, and I told him, I didn't even whisper. I was like, "Dude, I'll give you $20 to just stop coming back." And she's like, "Okay, I'm never bringing you back here."
So here's the problem. Has anybody ever been at a restaurant and you just put a mouthful of food in and how's everything doing?
Every
How's
time.
it
Yes.
tasting?
It's like they're hiding under the table.
me.
What's up?
Why would I want that at the movie theater?
Yeah, it's so bad.
It's literally
And
the
I-
same issue, but while trying to watch a movie I spent premium on to watch.
I have
can't
replied to them like I just took my first fucking bite. Let me figure it out. You know.
Not me.
Give me a second.
I will usually spit my entire mouthful on the floor and be like, "It's great, thank you." That's what I do. They never ask after that. All right, everybody ready to do anything else we want to wrap up with? Or are we ready for the hot dogs? Chicago dogs. God damn it.
I'm good with dogs if you guys are good with dogs.
Dogs.
All right, I'm gonna go first since I have the flag behind me. I know I love this movie. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Better be at a. Oh, you son of a bitch!
You're gonna You're gonna go 5?
5 out of 5.
I'm going 5 then. I was tedious because like I literally just told Giovanni that he gave 5 out of 5, and that's high marks on the show. Like, all right, fuck you guys, 5 out of 5.
I was about to call you a communist.
Hey, I don't like mayo. I like Miracle Whip, which is an American invention. Mayonnaise is French. Go fuck yourself.
Is it made with eggs?
Miracle Whip? I think it's made with chemical runoff. It's tangy though.
So I was gonna give it. So when
Miracle Whip.
I watched this movie today, and I was gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5, because like I said, there are slow parts, but in the conversation with you guys, I realized those slow parts are just as important.
They're intricate.
And fortunately,
they get to the high parts.
The dialogue in this movie, fortunately, is never goofy either.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's nothing that's not fucking needed.
Yeah, there's never. Like even this scene with Cornwallis's dogs is an appreciated scene.
Yeah, it's great. And I cried 3 times during this movie. And I love movies that are just emotional roller coasters, so I'm gonna go 5 out of 5.
What scenes? I gotta know.
So it's when his first son died. When he started crying, I started crying.
I was mad.
The second scene was actually the one guy he recruited who had that laugh that where he came to his town and the 2 kids were on the phone. And he just shot himself.
Yeah.
That was rough. And then actually the scene where they get to the town.
Church.
Yeah, and he's it's not even that the church burnt. He's looking at the lock and he looks at his son, Pete, and he's like, dude, I don't even know how to tell you. Like, yeah, that was like, fuck, that was rough.
So,
that was rough.
This movie's never made me cry, but the only scene that gets me, it got me when I watched this part today, I watched most of it today, is right after he butchers the entire battalion. And there's this scene where he rises up from the blood and the way the kids acted it.
Yeah.
And I think part of it might be because I was beaten as a kid. So, like, I understand a certain amount of fearing your father like that.
Yeah.
And to this day, it still gets me where it's like, fuck, man. Like, just the way they film it, and the kids are terrified, and he's dripping in blood, and you don't even see remorse or anything on his face. Like, he doesn't have a look on his face of, like, I shouldn't have done that. He has a look on his face of, like, great, they saw me. Like, it's not even, you know what I mean? Like, he's not even, doesn't feel bad. He just butchered an entire group. He doesn't feel bad at all.
I don't have to tell him what I did to the French.
Yeah, he's more got this look on his face like, oh, great, here's this can of worms. And I love it because he went into full Martin Riggs mode. And it's not even Martin Riggs throughout all the movies. It's specifically Martin Riggs at the end when they're torturing him and he comes out of the being and murders 6 people in a row. Like, it's that Martin Riggs.
So I think everybody was doing 5, 5, 5. So 5.
That is, I think, one of 2 or 3 across the board 5 stars.
It might have been 3. It might be
5
3
hot
now.
dogs.
It might be 3.
All right.
Anthony gave fucking last 3 Arnold movies. He's like, oh, just 5. They're all 5.
I mean, come on.
No, but I mean, like all of us agreeing.
Dude, Last Action Hero. They just gave Samuel L. Jackson an honorary Oscar. Why the fuck does Schwarzenegger not have one?
He should have one.
You're gonna give Samuel L. Jackson an honorary one, and you're talking cultural
motherfucker.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? Like, that's his cultural impact, and give him
motherfucking sakes on these motherfucking planes.
Give him credit. He's been a prolific actor for a long time. Why isn't Schwarzenegger given the same respect? You can't tell me that Samuel L. Jackson has made more of a difference than Schwarzenegger, or vice versa.
He's Austrian, right?
Yeah, Austrian. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
How does that make sense?
I don't know. I'm just trying to say.
All right.
This is racist.
So happy 4th of July. Yeah, that's his second moment of racism. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We're happy we recorded this just 2 days before 4th of July. That's for sure. But yeah, so the week before this, you'll have Freaky and the Dark and the Wicked. And then you'll have this, and then when we come back, we'll be with Giovanni, Alex, and I. And then we're going to be doing Outbreak and Sphere. Then it'll be Lewis, Giovanni, and I, and we'll be doing 2 movies. So we'll keep you guys updated on what's coming out. I'll try to update Facebook and shit and let you guys know what movies we're reviewing and everything too. Try to get that moving. so we can kind of watch along and shit. We will be doing a live episode at the end of next month. So end of July will be the next live episode, which I think is on the 31st itself.
Yeah, I think so.
Alrighty, welcome Giovanni to the shit show.
Welcome, Giovanni.
He is the new permanent co-host, so we're all going to have some fun. And this way, as Alex said, we'll be able to kind of pop in and out. So if Alex wants to take a break one week, it could be Lewis, Giovanni, and I. Or if Lewis and Alex are off at the same time and Giovanni wants to do one, we can run one ourselves. We have options now. Mm-hmm. So that's it for me. You guys have a wonderful night.
Yeah, happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Yeah, as Alex said, let's avoid this.
Yeah, don't lose any digits.
This is an unfortunate smelting accident. Good night, guys.
All right.